live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live! Hello all, welcome back to the INVICTUS stream! My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with my sound effect-laden brother, Alex.
That's right, folks, we're here!
The fantastic Miss Joe Fallak.
Whoa, whoa.
The wonderfully cramped Mr. Justin Thomas James. And we are here with chapters of the Undefeated, episode 10. That's right, we have done 10 fantastic episodes of this D&D 5e campaign created by Miss Joe Fallak. Let's give her a round of applause. She's doing such a great job so far. I'm really excited to be here tonight. This is the Big Hag fight. If anyone has not seen last episode, you should probably watch it because we're like mid-combat jumping into this. You won't really know what's going on.
I'll get y'all caught up. It's fine. You stay right here.
That's some country wisdom, right? I'll get y'all caught up. You sit right down. Let's play some
sit
songs.
right down.
Good boys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is, of course, an 18-plus show. If you are not comfortable with no-no words such as poo-poo and doo-doo, then you make sure to close the video. But before you close the video, make sure to like it. You just have to press that little thumbs up button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, and it makes us feel real warm. And it makes us
ready. Every like gives me one picnic.
Yeah, it gives Joe one picnic, and she likes picnics.
I do.
Apparently. But please like the video, and also subscribe to us on YouTube. That's the big red button that says subscribe, and if you can't read, that sucks. You should learn how to read. We'll do it together. That's Alex's
now
warning.
if you hit the subscribe button, now we can say poop and fuck and shit. Ning, ning, ning.
We couldn't say poop before.
Warning.
Poop
ning,
was
ning,
off limits, but now we can say poop.
Subscribers only.
That's right. So if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you're going to get a notification when we are live streaming, which we do every Wednesday at 8. But also, you should follow us on our other social platforms, such as Twitter. We are at INVICTUS Stream. Such as Instagram, we are at the INVICTUS Stream. And on Facebook, the page and the group. The group is the place where all the cool people hang out, let me tell you. It's the place we hang out during the week. We share stories, we swap pictures, lots of gifts, all sort of happen there. So please, if you have not yet, seriously consider joining the Facebook group. It is such a fantastic place.
But if you decide to go to the page first, you can easily get to the group, and vice versa. So visit the page, then that'll get you to the group.
Yeah, you do you. I don't want to tell you how to live your life. You just get to us however you want to do it.
Navigate as you will.
And navigate as you wish. And when you join the group, you also have a chance to win MVP. MVP is the person who we like to honor throughout the week. Someone we sort of like to distinguish. To say, hey, you done good. And this week, I would like to give it to...
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
The lovely Carly McConnell.
Who?
Ooh.
Harlan McConnell. Why? Because she seems chill. She's from she lives in Nova Scotia, and she's from Fenland Falls. Who do we know from Fenland Falls? That sounded so familiar when I read it.
It's around the corner from up
the
north,
cottage?
from us.
Yeah. I thought so. Okay. I was like, I know I've seen it. Maybe we just on the way to the cottage I read Fenland Falls. She just caught up with chapters of the Undefeated so that she could watch tonight live for chapter 10. So well done, Carly. You get MVP for just being cool. I would also like to mention, of course, that we have started a Patreon. Patreon, I said that weird, which is basically our way to get money. Which is true.
Get money.
So that we can do more things, and we can do the podcasting hosting fees, and we can talk about really creative ideas going forward.
Make money, money, make money, money, money.
And I would
That's
like
what our
to-
meetings look like.
That's it. We're like, we're in the money. And I would like to say thank you to our 24 patrons.
Jeez.
So super impressed at how amazing you guys have been thus far and supportive. It's been really, really helpful to us. And like I said, it's given us the opportunity to have the conversations that we've been waiting for, and it's really exciting. If you haven't joined Patreon yet, please consider doing so. The link is in the description of the video, and it would make me very, very happy, and it would make Alex very happy. Isn't that right?
That's right. It would make me happy. And this would turn to this.
That's right. That's the most important thing.
A pained grimace.
A big pained grimace. Speaking of, I finally saw Infinity War. Go see it. It's good. Yeah, I know you hate
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Justin and I are like pro. Joe and Alex are like, we hate comic book movies. So you guys can go high five each other.
I've seen all the comic book movies twice accidentally because I forget that I've seen it, and then halfway through I'm like, I have seen this one. So boring. Next.
Yep.
Anyway, I liked it. Go see it. And you know what? If you like movies, just enjoy them.
Such a grandpa.
Why are you promoting?
Who's that? Who's that one?
Yeah, I liked it. I'm promoting shit I like. That's what I do here. That's why Carly won MVP. It's just like, hey, Carly, she seems cool. I like her. She wins. That's right. That's what we do on the INVICTUS stream. We make shit up and we do things we like.
Hey, I have an announcement.
Please.
Laurel.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Me too.
Right? Right?
Me too.
Everybody knows about it.
And Joe had Laurel too, which was crazy. And I did
No.
Yeah, I played it for the women
Why
in
is
my
that
office.
crazy?
Because I played it for the women in my office and all of them heard Yanny. And I was like, okay.
I heard Yanny too.
Oh,
Did
is
you
this
really?
like the new
You're a Yanny.
gold
All
dress?
this morning.
Blue
I'm like,
dress?
how do you even hear
Yes,
Laurel?
yes, it is. Gold dress, pink
Okay,
dress.
Alex,
whatever.
I'm gonna send you 2 files because what I did is I changed the pitch in Audacity, and I could clearly hear Yanny when it was lower. It was really weird because then I sent it to Justin too. Very bizarre.
Yanny.
It must be, the way you're used to your own voice. If you have a deep voice, maybe you hear pitch differently. I don't know, but it's really, really cool.
Because of my very deep voice.
You do have a very deep voice, Joe. It's like the lowest of the low. It's like Barry White style.
That's right.
But yes, so going back 10 minutes ago, Patreon, please consider supporting
Winona
us.
Ryder low.
Carly and Megan
And
also
all that.
heard Laurel, so
Did they
we're
really?
I think that's lower than my voice.
Talking ladies.
I don't. It was weird that all the women in my office heard.
Yeah,
Yanny.
Tori was a
Yanny?
Yanny as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a Yanny.
Anyway, very interesting. So, yeah, Patreon. To do that if you want. It would be very helpful to us. And finally, this Saturday night, I am doing a spooky stream. So please make sure to stop by and have a little bit of fun. It's going to be very, very, very spooky indeed.
What are you playing?
A lot of little short games. I'm playing with Joe. We're going to be doing some like spooky, short, little independent games. And Joe yells very, very screams loud. So be very.
I'm
good.
going to give you the headphones warning right now.
Okay, you know what's weird? Sorry to take it back to this,
Are you
but
going
I
back
just
to the
listened
Yanny
to
thing?
it.
You fucker.
I just listened to it, and it went Yanny, Laurel, and then I listened to it again. And it was like Laurel.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
this is fucked. It changed halfway.
So the
through.
guy, Ed Harris, who's controlling the Truman Show in the Moon, is like, "Oh, Alex needs to hear Laurel," and he switched halfway through, and now you'll never hear Yanny again.
Bjorn also said, I heard Yanny to start with, then it turned to Laurel, and now I can't go back.
Oh my
No.
god!
It's like that. It's like that ballerina that dances One Direction.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
And then once you see,
I can
Brains
switch
are
that
so
though.
fucking
yeah.
I can
cool.
switch that in my mind.
Yeah,
That you
Brains
perceive something that's like
suck.
objectively the same thing, but you can think about it just differently and perceive it 2 different ways. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Like
So
a
fucking
cylinder.
Yeah,
Like a
Patreon. So
cylinder.
consider Patreon.
So spooky stream.
And that too. Anyway, that's all the stuff going on. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So
My
hang
dog
out.
is just going hog wild right now. So
I think
if
you're going
you
hog
guys-
wild for your
I
dog.
think they're just going
He's-
dog wild.
He keeps bringing me all the loudest toys. This is a very, very loud one.
Oh my god!
Wow, that is loud.
Hey.
That's piercing.
Thank you for the
Yes.
demonstration.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, if
I
you
wouldn't have
hear that
believed
in
you.
the background, I'm just letting you know.
So that's it. 18
There
plus,
it is.
Facebook, Twitter, MVP, Fenland Falls, Patreon.
Oh,
Spooky
you can't
Stream.
have that
I think that's
right
all that we ever do, right?
Dog toy review.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
the
podcast.
dog toy review.
We have a bunch more to jump into the podcast, to dump into the podcast. I'm just waiting to sort of have money to be able to do that because again, the Patreon doesn't come until the end of the month, so I just don't want to do it right now. It's expensive. It's like expensive to clear it all. So that is going to be coming shortly. We have, I think, all of Numenera done and The Strange on podcast format. So if you have not listened to those, or you want to catch up, or just listen to them again, they're going to be available on the podcast hopefully start of next month. If not sooner, we'll aim for that, which is exciting. Actually, I'm also excited to I want to put Siege and Arrow in podcast form as well.
I didn't show of hands actually on the Discord. Who here listens to the podcast?
Show of hands. Everyone put your hands up.
Show of.
You know, people are
thumbs
like,
ups.
oh wait, let me figure out how to do, because that's what I would be doing. I'd be like,
Oh yeah, technology.
I want a selfie of you holding your hand up.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
some
the only
smart
way.
Alex would
That's
be
the
like,
only way
"No,
we'll
We're
accept
not counting you otherwise.
your bed.
you're not a real
I'm
person.
curious. I'm curious who listens that way and who watches YouTube and.
Yeah, me too. Actually, yeah, we have. Yeah, I'm curious as well. There's a lot of information going. Also, I want to know how to kill a
course I
hag.
had.
So if you know how to do that without
Yeah.
meta,
Don't.
Just
Don't.
give us all the
without
answers.
meta,
Don't.
do it. Don't let Joe control you.
I'm the fucking DM.
Which was really funny, by the way, because there was a great post that Joe did about describing yourself in 2 words. Or no, was it in 2 words? Oh, what could you tell your past self 2 years ago in 2 words? And listen, I love you guys. Okay, you the community. You guys are just, you're the best.
Sweeties,
But
all
we really
every one of
need
you.
to. Yeah, we need to talk about counting, guys, because there were so many not. So
I think
many.
people were just doing it to fuck with you.
No, not me. It was like, I think, well, maybe, yeah. It didn't make me that angry until now. They didn't know. Now they're going to start posting like 60 words. But,
What do you mean?
guys.
What was wrong with them? What
And
was wrong
so
with them?
many of them did like 4, 5, 6 words. It was like, the whole
Oh, it's
thing
easy. You
was-
just have to count up to 1, 2 words, 3 words,
4 words.
4 words.
5 words.
5 words, 6
5
words,
words.
7
See, I can
The
do
words.
it.
number of gifts of people.
was I doing
counting
again?
their hands,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. It was pretty funny, but lots of great answers, some sad answers, and
2 words. Not 3. 5 is right out.
5 is right out of the question. Oh my god, I started that the other night and I fell asleep, and I really want to finish it. Holy Grail, such a good movie. That's one of those movies that you like as a kid, and then there's like sort of a period where you're kind of like, and then when you watch it again, you're like, fuck no, this is good. This, like, even the credits sequence, which I never really paid much attention to when I was younger, are so fucking clever. Like where they have the subtitles about moose and stuff. You gotta watch it. It's so fucking good. Give it another shot if you haven't seen it in a long time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, who's ready for chapters of the Undefeated episode 10 tonight?
Oh, I forgot we were playing. I can't play tonight, guys.
Show of hands.
You can't.
Me.
You can't play, Alex.
No.
No.
Oh, what am I kidding? I'm kidding. I can't.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, good, because that would have been weird. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to start. Are you guys ready to start?
He's just here for his favorite part, which is the
The
introduction.
intro, and then that's it.
blurb.
It's showing that 18+ warning is his favorite part.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I think we're ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce chapters of the Undefeated, episode 10.
Bong.
Previously, in Chapters of the Undefeated. Brother Asuka sits in his pew, watching the shape of Graham toss and turn in his bedroll. Moonlight streams through the windows in the cathedral, making spectral shapes on the sleeping party sprawled in the middle of the church. Graham starts to groan and thrash about more violently, and Asuka rushes to his side to wake him, as agreed. Graham, gasping, looks around wildly and sputters, "That was her. She's here," waking the others from their slumber. The party regards the shape of Baby Lotus, caged and shackled nearby, and the shadowy forms of the pews pushed against the far walls. A booming knock on the church's door is followed by another, and then the shape of the hag herself, her terrifying, disgusting face, and her insane rambling is enough to send Sister Heather Constance for cover behind the strewn benches. The hag paces closer, changing shape. Quintus hefts his spear, nodding at Graham. "When you're ready." The hag reaches out her talons, sending some arcane energy toward the party. Leah collapses, unconscious. Graham reaches out for Alistair's energy and casts Shatter, causing massive explosive damage to the cackling monster. Dust falls from the roof of the abbey. Quintus approaches the hag at a run and stabs out at her, narrowly missing. Brother Creany likewise misses with a bolt of sacred flame. She's too nimble, dodging out of the way. Tados, sensing his opportunity, fakes as if to want to talk to the hag while approaching her, then lunges at her with his silver knife. He lands a hit, scoring her ribs with the blade. What do you do?
What order are we in now? Who's up next?
It is actually Sister Constance's turn. Sorry, Sister Constance's turn, and then the hag's turn. So actually, it's my turn twice. But that's our little recap for what went down last episode and where everyone is in the room. So Leah and Graham are basically in the center of the room amid the bedrolls. Graham, I will remind you, you are not wearing armor right now.
I don't think I own armor, do I?
You probably do. Tados and Quintus are menacing the hag up close and personal.
Excellent.
Sister Constance is hiding in the middle of the pews, and also Brother Creedy is, I think, out in the middle of the floor, and also there's a chained up baby somewhere nearby. So yeah, so that's what's going on. Do we want to talk about anything that's happening right now, or are we just going to go right into it?
Just a couple questions.
Yes.
This is sincere. As per my message, did all that actually happen last week?
Yes.
Or did you kind of narrate some of that into it?
All of that happened.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't, like, I added a little bit of a little special.
Right, but we actually did start the fight.
Yes, we did.
I didn't recall that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kids, don't drink and role play. Let this be an
That's the
example.
problem. When you drink a lot of gin, and then you start to fight a hag.
Okay.
You sometimes forget what
That
happened.
was a sincere question, so I appreciate that. Thank
It
you.
was
Yeah,
the sincerity that
absolutely.
was scariest. If it was insincere.
Not at all. It's been a long week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So what am I going to have? I think Sister Constance is going to cast light so that everyone can see what's up. We don't have to worry about those of us who do not have dark vision anymore.
Yeah, that's in here.
Excellent.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so she's going to send magical torchlight all around the top of the church. And she continues sort of staying behind cover. Next up, it's the hag. She doesn't like being menaced so closely by these two dudes, so she's going to try to hit Quintus with her claws.
Come on, bring it, lady. The old hag.
You insolent. That's going to be a miss. 9 to hit you.
That is a big miss. Insolent what?
And because you
Man with a
said
shield.
you were meditating last night instead of sleeping, you are still equipped with all of your armor and stuff.
Excellent. Now, I do have a reaction, I believe.
Ooh, please.
Mm-hmm.
It is called a riposte. Riposte? Riposte? And it happens when a creature misses. And I'm allowed to spend a superiority dice for melee, and then I get to make an attack.
Wicked. Do that thing.
Thank you for attacking me, lady, because now you've left me an opening. Let's
Really?
see what Drew Allen thinks of you.
Hey.
Hey,
Allen.
that's 17. The hit. Is that a hit?
Yes, it is.
Hey, that's a hit. Finally. All right, and now I have to do damage. And I get to add
You
a
don't
1.
have to.
I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
Let's see. 1d6 plus 6. Plus, I got a 6. So 12 points of damage plus my
Nice.
superiority die. Plus
And
5.
that is with Dralin, yes?
Drew Allen. Aye, the magical spear. Does it work?
It does. What's the total amount of damage?
17 points of damage.
Whew, that's juicy. Okay.
Thank you.
You are well versed with this spear. This is almost like a family member to you. And you know what it looks like when you skewer someone with a spear. You recognize that this spear is not doing as much damage as it should be. You stick it in her side, and when you pull it out, like, not as much gore comes out as you were expecting from like where on her you hit her.
Right.
But she recoils screaming.
Try it again. Come on. and with the rest of my turn, I'm going to shift sideways so that
it is actually not your turn. You were just reacting.
Oh right, yeah, that's right.
But it's Graham's turn.
Oh, awesome.
What do you do, Graham?
I guess I will just cast Guiding Bolt then.
Do it.
Because they're close to her right now. I can't do Thunder Wave. Right? It's a cone.
You could, but you'd be injuring your companions.
So I would say to them, I'd say, try to step back if you can. I want to cast something big. Not in that way. It would be much more serious. And I will do Guiding Bolt. And that is Flash of Light, blah, blah, blah. So it's a ranged spell attack against the target.
So roll to attack.
Correct. I will use Inspiration as well. Sorry.
Great. How many more of those do you have?
I have 2, so that's the first one I'm going to use. I rolled 1 and then I'm going to roll again. Sorry. So natural 20.
Okay.
What?
Fantastic. So yeah. What is it when a natural 20?
You roll your damage dice twice.
So that's 8d6. That's really good.
Roll away.
8d6? What did you cast?
On a hit, Guiding Bolt. On a hit, the target takes 4d6 radiant damage. So I did that twice. 8d6.
Nice.
What?
That's amazing.
Fucking A. All right, so
1 8 damage.
29 damage.
Hell yeah.
Moly.
And it's, I don't know if it matters, but it's radiant damage.
It does not.
She has radiation poisoning.
That means you win the game.
Could you imagine?
Get out.
I do want to.
You said 28 damage?
29 damage.
29 damage.
I do want to mention that the next attack roll made against the hag has advantage.
Nice.
So that's really important. Let's not forget that because we always forget that.
Roller.
So who's next? Just so we know.
It's Quintus.
Perfect.
Well,
Quintus.
it is me. I also wanted to say that we've had a few people offer up some experience points.
Mm-hmm.
We have Megan Dawn, who's offered up an XP to anyone who wants to use it. But then also, David Johns has offered up XP. I suppose to Graham, as he's part of Graham's house.
Nice.
But,
Thank you. So I'm back up to 2 inspiration.
Bjorn has offered 1 XP to each of us.
Nice.
Just so I understand how to use XP, if I roll and I don't like it, can I then take an XP and re-roll?
No.
Or do I have to?
And for the record, that's not what I did. I said I just rolled accidentally late because I did press it and say I'm going to use.
Harlan's favorite thing to do.
I did not see the result before saying it.
You have to state that you're going to use XP and then roll both dice.
Yes,
Okay.
which is basically
And
what I did.
we're also using the word inspiration for it.
Yes.
And Langdon is also offering.
Holy
XP.
fuck. Well, let's take it as we need
Well,
it.
let's just move along in the combat, and if you need XP, you can discuss that later.
Great.
So, Quintus, what happens?
All right.
You are
Well,
standing
I'm.
beside this hag, you give her a good whack with your spear, and then Graham basically sets her on fire.
Beautiful. I see he's doing well. I heard him say that we should step back, but there's something else I want to try before I do so. And I'm going to take out the short sword. Was it the short sword? Or did Leah get the short sword?
Leah got the short sword.
So I'll take out.
No.
Do I have any of them?
Yes. So.
Sorry, let me back it up. I'm fairly certain we gave Justin, who's the one who's with
Well,
the most damage. Oh,
we were thinking about doing that, but then I thought that
You're right.
because I had my
I'm sorry.
spear, I wouldn't need it.
So
I'm sorry. I take it back.
I know that Tados got one of the daggers. Leah took the short sword. I don't remember who got the second dagger. It may
was
have
definitely
been Graham.
No.
Yeah, I think it was Graham.
I think I took
think
it.
so?
Yeah. I think I did.
Fine. I was drinking, obviously. So I don't remember. My thought is.
All right, that's no problem. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to try to goad her. And I'm going to try to attack her just with my spear again.
Okay.
And let's just do a 1d20 roll. I am going to use inspiration.
You just rolled.
I know. What about it?
The
What do you mean?
5, right?
No. That's my 1d8 from last time.
Okay.
It isn't
Never
really
mind.
22.
The D8s look so much like the D20s in this.
Yeah, they kind of do. They're pretty similar, especially in the.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just a
So
little
go
triangle.
ahead and use inspiration.
All right, so that is a 22 to hit.
You do. You hit.
Beautiful. So that's with Drualin again. I've hit, and I'm going to use my goading attack. And I say, my goodness, you are just so beautiful. I heard that you tried to be ugly, but my goodness. I can't stop saying my goodness. I'm just so astonished by your beauty.
My goodness.
All right. Let's see how much damage I do. Boom, 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 boom. Oh no, that's too many. Okay, don't ignore those 1d20s. So that's 5 plus 6 is 11
Oh, you didn't take the advantage from the radiant attack.
for attack.
Yeah.
Do I have to, or can someone else take it?
Well,
No.
No,
We'll
that's why-
just give you your XP back.
yeah. So I was like,
Oh,
remember? That's why I was like, can't
We
forget.
are.
I thought for some reason I thought that it gave like a 1d4 like. bonus to
No, that's
attack or
blessed.
something.
No, this is just advantage. So you keep your XP.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we keep the XP. Gotta get that. And so I do that, and I also do an extra 1d8 for my superiority die. So 5 plus 6, so 16 points of damage.
Nice.
And the target makes a wisdom save on a fail. End of my turn. Distracted until the end of my turn.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. That'd be good.
Let me see here. I'm going to make a wisdom save.
I imagine they're pretty wise, but
That's an 18.
that is enough.
That's gonna do it.
Wait, what's it against? What I rolled?
You should know that.
I should know that.
I do not know.
I think it's against what I rolled because I don't have like a spell number.
I'm not sure, but you should
Like an
know your
opposed
save
roll.
DCs. So if you want to look that up, I got an 18.
Yeah.
And we can decide whether she's distracted or not.
Okay, looking it up.
Next up, Brother Karini is excited about getting this hag set on fire and is going to cast Sacred Flame.
This hag is on fire.
She's going to make a dexterity save, and that succeeds. So she just dodges out of the way again. Next up, it is Leah's turn. She continues to be asleep. And Tados, you're right up against this hag. What do you do?
Oh, I comment on its beauty. You're so beautiful, hag.
She's like, you are, both of you, just the worst.
You're just the worst.
And with that, I take another swipe at this wretched beast and use
With
my
that
silver
silver dagger?
dagger.
Nice.
And so with a d20, and maybe should I just use an XP from this wonderful group of ours?
Do it.
If you don't have inspiration,
another
you-
Build some momentum.
From Marbles 1000. I'm gonna use it. Who's Marbles? Who's Marbles?
That's Marvin Tanner.
yeah.
Okay.
One of our patrons.
Okay, I'm using
Hey.
it, so I'm gonna roll 2d20 and take the higher. So a 9 and a 10.
That's the plan.
Nice.
So what's your total roll?
Oh shit! Did somebody use the advantage that Harlan gave?
Yes.
Okay, good. The total roll would be dagger +3, so 13.
No, that does not hit, unfortunately.
Do I add anything to that other than just the dagger attack bonus?
You would be using your proficiency bonus and your dexterity bonus.
So then, sorry, dexterity 1, so 3. Oh, that is the dagger attack bonus.
So that misses. Justin, for your maneuvers, the maneuver save DC is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus either your strength or dexterity modifier.
Okay, so proficiency bonus would be
is 2 right now.
10. Yeah, so so it'd just be 13.
Okay, yeah, so
yeah, definitely
18 greater than 13. So just make note for going forward, we're going to be trying to beat a 13.
Thank you for looking that up.
You are welcome. Okay, next up, Sister Constance is back on the roster. She is going to she's going to use her action to help Graham in his next turn, I think. So Graham, if you are planning to attack this hag next turn, you are going to have advantage automatically because Sister Constance is going to start using her thaumaturgy to create these distracting sounds all around her.
Perfect.
All around the hag. So Sister Constance is doing some backup.
Yeah.
Next up, it's the hag. She is going to... she disappears from view.
Fuck. That's what I was worried about. All right, we're still in initiative.
Yep.
Who's next?
It is you, Graham.
I'm gonna go to the baby.
Okay.
Go to the baby.
Yeah, and I'm going to...
Baby within about 15 feet of you.
So I run over to it, and I, create a spark in my hand, which is like sacred flame, I guess, and I sort of point it towards the baby. And I say, "Don't you dare enter the eternal..." Is it eternal? Eternal? Ethereal. Don't you dare enter the ethereal plane. Come back and fight us, or I'll destroy this child where it stands, or where it crawls. And I sort of just and I let the fire sort of begin erupting from my fingertips a little bit. And I'll roll persuasion, or I guess intimidation. Can I get an advantage because Constance, or is it only combat?
That's just combat.
Then I will use one of my inspiration points to take advantage. And
Let me know when you spend an XP from the players.
So that was my other one that I had. So that's now I'm empty, and I'll use XP going forward. So that's 12 plus my intimidation, which is only 2. Fuck, which is 14. Crumbs.
So she's got to roll against it? Is that an opposed?
I don't know.
That's a DC that is set by the DM.
Gotcha.
Depending on the difficulty of the task. Okay, so it's Quintus's turn.
Oh, I think it's important to say that I'm not bluffing too. I'm going to kill this thing if she doesn't pop back. So how does that work? I guess it's still intimidation, right? But it's not
if you were bluffing, you would be making deception.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Just checking.
Instead of intimidation.
All right, I'm going to run over to Leah now that the threat is disappeared, and I'm going to try to wake her up. And I'm going to shake her and shout, Leah, get up, come on.
Yeah, and she, what's happening?
The hag's disappeared. Could be anywhere. Glad you're with us. Are you all right? Did you hit your head when you fell?
A little bit. I'm okay. Is everyone all right?
So far, so good.
Okay.
Everyone?
Yes, I exclaim while standing there with a silver dagger in my hand, unharmed.
Dripping with hag blood.
Is there any way, I say this to the priests, is there any way that we'd be able to see into the ethereal plane?
Right? It's fucking tough.
I know it is. Eternal plane, ethereal plane.
Ethereal.
Ethereal.
Brother Creeny's like, well, we would need a spellcaster, at least as powerful as your friend here. Someone who had the spell see invisibility.
Which she didn't take.
And I suppose...
Despite knowing that it would be needed. I call, like, I mean, we're in turn, but I talk and I'm like, come here, like, help. I think the child is our only leverage.
Right.
Put a silver blade to it. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I forgot. I have the dagger. Okay, never mind. Anyway.
I have the dagger.
Oh, we all have. Well, you and I both have daggers.
If Tados has the dagger and he gives the dagger to
who has the
Leah,
who has the dagger? I have the dagger.
Brother Carini, with his movement, moves back over to where everyone is in their bedrolls and prepares an action that if he sees the hag again, he's going to cast Sacred Flame on her. Leah... I think is adequately freaked out. She's just like looking all around with like her arcane focus in her hand, waiting for something to happen. Tados, it's your turn.
So she's gone?
We don't see her.
Can
roll perception. To try to like hear if maybe she's invisible and walking around somewhere, or you know what I mean.
Either that, or let's just see, is there something else? No. Okay, I am going to roll a perception. Is that an action?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to maybe cast a thaumaturgy after this, but my perception is a 3, which even if I use my passive perception of 10.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
Okay. So with that, I don't see anything. I cast thaumaturgy so that the room fills with whispering voices, and they all say they're whispering. We see you. You're beautiful. We see you. Come
it's
out
really
and play
empowering.
with us.
It is.
We see you. Don't hesitate. You think you're going to fail. You will.
And we're going to drop out of initiative order because there seems to be no oppressor.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that the only benefit is that we've still got the baby.
Yeah, and our lives also. That's pretty important. Did anyone get hit at all?
I didn't believe so.
I think everyone
got knocked unconscious, but
yeah.
She missed me. She tried to rake at me with her long, jagged cougar claws.
Ugh.
And I don't mean the puma.
Ugh. What else did she do?
Dirty cougar claws.
It's kind of cool, actually.
Aye, it was a little bit.
But,
We're all right, Tados. You're fine. You ran in there.
Yes.
Headstrong.
I'm fine. As I'm standing there, kind of looking around very intently, not happy that this battle ended so quickly, but also looking down at my shocking hands that are just fizzling because all my rolls are terrible. So I'm just like, maybe it's good that she didn't arrive back. That bitch. Then I take a seat on the ground next to Quintus.
Well, like I say, we've still got the baby, which means we've still got leverage. Now that we know that this baby can't be turned back into a human, I don't feel so bad about killing it. But
So
perhaps we could use it for, well, to put an end to the harassment that the hag's been doing.
she just disappeared? Did you guys at least, like, give her what for?
We don't.
I believe so.
I mean, yes, I cast 2 mighty spells. All right, is this still an initiative, or are we just talking now?
No, we dropped out.
Oh, fuck. I pull my silver dagger out and I press it to the baby's skin.
Perhaps we could use it as leverage, Graham.
Does anything happen?
The baby starts crying.
Okay.
Is it like sizzling and bubbling?
No, you woke up a baby.
It was asleep that whole time.
Yeah, how the fuck did it sleep through
It
that?
had been yelling through all the calm walking.
I
and
think
relaxing.
because it had been through such a terrifying ordeal that now it's finally able to have a little bit of rest. Maybe.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna cast.
Now it's waking up.
I'm gonna cast. Oh no, I didn't take it. What's his name did? I'm gonna turn to him and say, "Cast your spell about detect magic," or Constance had it, I think. Can you find
Which spell?
detect magic?
Detect magic. Oh, the one that she cast on the baby initially?
Yeah, or I guess that was good and evil, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That would probably still work, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Constance comes over. She's like brushing some of the dust off of her robes.
Quickly.
Yes. One moment. Sorry, Graham. Just let me concentrate. And she casts the spell, and she turns to you and nods again. This child is still.
No, not the child. Look around.
Oh, yes.
Can you reach the essence of the creature even though she's invisible? Like,
And that's a good idea. So Constance starts walking around the church because the spell only. She's explaining the spell only has a radius of 30 feet. I must.
Must you do that now?
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, I wasn't thinking. I got
Unmuted.
excited. Sorry, I apologize.
And so Sister Constance paces around the church, and after a few minutes, she turns back to Graham and says, "I do not detect any."
Through the back door, come, and I tell Quintus to watch the child. Hold your blade to the child, and I burst through the back towards the river.
And then they have a silver blade.
Or I toss him my dagger,
Got it.
and I pull Constance along quickly because I know it's a timed spell.
You let me just look something up.
My understanding is that this plane, the ethereal plane,
Ethereal.
while this witch, I mean, it can't be something she could do indefinitely. You know what I mean? So she must be looking for a spot to pop out, or at the minute she's away from us, she'll come back into existence. Because that seems odd to be able to be invisible forever. Otherwise, she would have walked in invisible.
Well, she's not invisible. She's on a different plane of existence.
You know what I mean?
Sure. So we walk around town a little bit. The spell lasts 10 minutes.
Towards the river.
Great.
That's where I want to go.
Yeah. So we do that, and we don't detect any aberrations, fiends, undead.
All right. Interesting.
No celestials, elementals, fae, nothing.
Look up at the sky.
Cinematically, this is where the hag would pop up with Quintus holding the baby. Quintus, the one who cares most about the baby. And then would confront him. Right, you won't do it. I know you, Quintus. But this isn't a movie.
No, it's not.
Real life.
So when I realize that
This
it's
is
not
real
turning
minds.
any sort of benefit, I turn around, all sweaty and panicking. I'm back to the child then. So where the fuck would she have gone? I guess it's possible that the spell wouldn't work, but was this not the spell that I cast when we were looking for the succubus, and I saw it through the walls originally?
Yes.
So so that was sort of Graham's logic to thinking that you'd be able to see the sort of flame of this creature.
Why don't you make an intelligence check?
Please and thank you. I will happily take one. with a 19 plus 5.
Nicely
so
done.
We're good.
You know, you're sort of standing in the dark with Sister Heather as she's like casting around her hand with this spell. And you sort of put it together that the succubus was merely invisible at times, often shape-shifted as other people. You could still determine her true nature. The succubus never entered another plane.
So it is the plane that would restrict it. Fair enough. Okay. Damn. All right, then I run back into the building.
Cool. What's everyone in the building doing?
Well, I was just about to say, as these guys are Justin's standing there with the baby,
around,
and as Leah and Quintus are standing there, and Graham comes back in, I say, I'm going out for a minute, and I'll be right back. Stay here. And I run out the front doors of the church. And
Don't go far!
I won't, and I'll be right back. And I run to Liam Nee's house.
Okay. So it's about 4 a.m.
Yes, good.
There are no lights on.
I'm not looking for anybody's... And actually, on the way, I'm not looking for anybody awake. I'm actually looking and listening for anybody that might be asleep, babies crying, people having nightmares.
Roll perception.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea, Alex.
Oh, I thank you. I'd take my hat off if I was wearing one. 17.
That's smart.
Plus, is there anything that I can add to that? Perception?
Yeah, it'd be perception, wouldn't it?
Yep. What's your perception modifier?
That's a good idea.
It's one of the skills.
Oh, it's 0. So 17. Sorry.
Yeah. So as you are walking down towards Liam Nee's house, listening, and the night is very still, you don't hear anything until you come up to the central exchange and the row of houses where Liam Nee lives. And maybe it's because it's a warmer spring night than usual, but there are a couple windows cracked on this row of houses. You can hear noises of slumber coming from inside. Your sharp, devilish hearing, and you do hear the sound of someone tossing and turning and calling out in their sleep.
I don't think to go back and get the others, unfortunately.
Well,
I'm in the heat of the moment, and so I go directly for that window.
You can't really tell which house it's coming from unless you spend another couple of minutes like poking around.
I do.
Walking back and forth and pinpointing the source of the noise as it's getting a little bit louder, and you realize that it is coming from Liam Nee's house.
The dogs.
And listening, is it Liam Nee that's having the...
It's not a noise that you... It's not a voice that you recognize. It's a female voice, high-pitched.
All right. Well, without hesitating, I either break in through the window or bust down the door. Let's say the window because it's open.
Okay. Why don't you make a dexterity save to see if you can break through a window without getting injured?
So is that I have to roll under my dexterity, which is a 13?
Your dexterity is a saving throw that you can make.
I always forget, what is a saving throw?
What are saves? Baby, don't hurt me. So these are skills down this side, the big long column, and then up above, those are your saving throws.
So if my dexterity is a 13.
Okay.
So that's my saving throw? Is that what you're saying?
So you have a +1.
Right.
To your, that's like your dexterity modifier.
Right.
And then if you're proficient in dexterity saving throws, you would add your proficiency bonus, which is a 2 right now.
Oh, my saving throws. I see.
Yes.
Over there. So
you're going to roll a d20 and you're going to add your dexterity save modifier.
Which is a +1.
Awesome. So do that for me.
But what do I have to get over?
So these are DCs that the DM just arbitrarily sets. I'm going to say that You're going to have to roll higher than a 12 to avoid taking any damage, and it'll be a 1d4.
And I didn't. It's a 6, so I rolled 7.
So I'm going to roll some slashing damage for you, but you do get in. It's pretty easy to just break through a window. So you're going to take...
But with the medieval screens and whatnot.
You will take 1 damage.
Ow! I look down and I have a gruesome looking scrape.
Yes, but you are in. You're on. And you have dark vision.
That's right.
You are in the familiar downstairs portion of the tailor's shop.
Excellent. So I draw my silver dagger, and I quickly advance upstairs, expecting to see this hag leaning over a bed. That's kind of what's in my mind.
Great. Right, so you pass quickly past the rolls of fabric and the dressmakers' mannequins through into the back room and up the stairs that you remember having gone up. You pause for just a minute at the top landing where there are 2 doors, one that leads into the bedroom with the children and one that leads into the bedrooms with the adults, and you realize that this hag is probably menacing one of the daughters.
Yeah.
Luckily for you, the door is unlocked and you bust your way in. As you do, you hear the sounds of the adults being roused. You're not sure whether it was your flight up the stairs or you're breaking the bottom window.
That's okay.
But you hear them getting up.
And for visual effect, though, I use my thaumaturgy to throw the door open, so I don't actually...
Oh, boom!
Yeah.
So you kick it open, but you don't actually use your foot. You just...
Right, it's like...
gesture with your hand.
And the door just goes slamming open.
Amazing.
And I leap into the door to see...
The window is cracked a little bit, as I mentioned, but the shutters are mostly drawn over the window, so there's just a thin stripe of moonlight. You cast around in the room, and you see an empty crib, and then 2 small beds with the sleeping shapes of 2 daughters. One of them is obviously having some night terrors. That's all you see.
So 1 empty crib. Assuming that's the crib that was already empty from the missing daughter. And the 1 kid was having night terrors or something.
Yes. So what do you do?
But there's no hag.
You do not see the shape of a hag.
I'm going to roll a quick perception then.
Great.
See if there's anything else in this room that I'm just not seeing.
So you stand for a minute and you look in all the corners. You slice the pie, as it were.
Yeah. And
slice the pie. I've never heard that saying. That's a good saying. Yeah.
Slice.
No,
Are you being facetious?
No, I've never heard that.
It's like a tactical.
I get it. I just never heard it. Justin, Alex?
Corners. No, really? Guys.
Yeah.
Don't guys us. That's not.
I invented it. It's a thing that I did. That I made
worst. That's the
and
worst.
Everyone who uses it from now on can pay me.
Oh my god! I regret saying anything.
Okay, so a 4.
Okay.
So I'm not very perceptive.
Yeah, you're kind of like confused with what you're seeing. You can't really put it all together in your head, and as you stand there, kind of just like a little bit stupefied, you are barreled into and tackled from behind by Liam Nee.
Yeah. That was to be expected.
And then swiftly jumped on top of by his aged father as well. So there's a bro pile in the middle of this chamber. And an elderly woman comes in with a lantern and she lights all the lamps in the room. What is it? Did you get the vile demon?
And I'm sitting there struggling with a pillowcase over my head.
Yeah, and the one daughter is still kind of screaming and thrashing around, but the other one wakes up. Mama?
She's still thrashing around, eh?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this hag is in the ethereal plane attacking her. So using my thaumaturgy, with a booming voice, I say, I kind of clear the room and all the questions, and I say, "Help the child!" and it booms across the room. I'm going for 2 effects here. Number 1, get everybody's attention and to direct them to the daughter, who's obviously having some struggle, but also a second fold, hoping that this boom may distract the hag if it is there.
As you scream your intention, the child does wake up, and she just starts crying. And Liam Nee, I think, with the addition of light in the room, suddenly realizes who it is that he's lying on top of, and him and his dad both sort of get up, and he reaches a hand down to you, and then he kind of reconsiders.
Reconsiders the hand?
Yeah, and he's gonna roll insight to try to determine what the fuck is going on here. And it's not great. It's like, what brings you to my house? What were you injuring my daughter? And he sort of gets up to stand between you and the girl.
And I kind of sit up, and I'm not in any rush to stand up. And I scooch back, and I kind of sit up against the wall, and I say, "No, Mr. Nee, of course, I mean you no harm. I mean none of your family any harm. You see, it's this witch. I heard your daughter's cries from outside. You can ask your daughter. You were having nightmares, weren't you?" I direct my question towards the daughter.
Little girl, she's about 4 years old. She's crying, like she like puts her head underneath the blanket, and she's kind of rocking back and forth.
I didn't have a chance to wake you. I needed to act quickly. And
Liam Nee's like, "Yes, a witch, you say? Did you find my daughter?"
"No, we did not.
Oh.
We found the lair."
You found the lair?
Yes.
Where? How did you do such a thing? Were there any clues? Anything?
Perhaps it might be best if you all came with me, actually.
Oh,
this is
it's
probably
the middle
a
of the
bad
night,
call, but
it's my daughter is just so
Yes.
distressed, and
yes, and in fact that's exactly why I suggest that maybe you come with me.
are they safe here with my parents? Can I leave them?
I can't say that they are, but maybe if they stayed awake. At least your parents. Let the children sleep, but someone needs to keep an eye on them and not let them doze off. And if they do, to wake them if they're having nightmares.
All right.
You must understand, this is of the most greatest importance, that your children get woken if they're having nightmares.
All right. And the little girl's like, "Daddy, I don't want you to go." And Liam Nee sits down on her bed with her, and he takes the covers off of her head and sort of like tousles her hair, and her cheeks are all red and streaked with tears, and he sort of like cleans her up a little bit. He's like, "Now listen, daddy's gonna go and talk to this nice man, and I'll be right back, and Nanny and Pappy are here, and they'll take care of you." And she's like, "I don't want you to go." And he's like, "Well, we have those biscuits in the fridge," and they go through this like kind of adorable like father-daughter making her feel better. And he's like, "It's just a bad dream. Nothing can hurt you. Daddy will be right back." And then eventually the child is calmed, and the other child is she's also doing okay. They all sort of huddle together on the one bed, and Nanny and Pappy get some toys in the room, and everything's like well lit and seems to be all right. They're talking about an early breakfast, and Liam Nee follows you wherever you lead him. Very good.
Back to the to the church.
Cool.
But on the way, I do explain to Liam Nee that this is going to be probably very difficult. A very difficult truth to face, and not to overreact, but to brace himself, because we're going to need his assistance and his insight into this. And,
cool. Awesome. So Graham, Quintus, Leah, the three of us are at the church planning while Quintus makes his nighttime stroll.
Yeah. You mean Tadas? Where the hell did Tadas go?
I don't know, but that's what I say. I say we use this baby hag thing and try to convince the hags to leave the county, leave the realm, and say that if they didn't do it, then, well, this town's looked after by the Undefeated.
I say we just kill it. It's a hag, baby. Like, she's gonna follow us if we try to keep it alive, you know, as a bargaining chip. She's just gonna keep following us around.
We want to slay her. We don't want her to leave this time.
Well, I think Quintus is right that maybe we, if we go into Orjek, we can call for reinforcements. People maybe who know how to deal with hags better than the four of us, and they can come and protect the town.
How far is the river from the
church?
Yeah.
It's maybe a 5-10 minute walk.
I walk over to the chain that houses the baby, and I pull it up from where I hammered it in and bring it loose, and I take the heavy iron cage and pick it up with the chain in my arm, and I say, let's go. And I carry it, and I start heading towards the river.
Okay. Quintus, are you in league with...
I follow. What are you doing, Graham?
We're going to raise the stakes. And I'm like angrily walking outside carrying this heavy iron to the river.
We
exchange a glance with Leah.
Yeah, Leah's like, I don't know. She like sheathes her silver short sword and like, I'm tired. And kind of trudges along behind us. Yeah, it's a sad scene when you realize that Tados is bringing Liam Nee towards the church. I imagine, Tados, you have some dancing lights out. I think you have that as a cantrip to help. I do. To help, not that I want to play your character, but just because Liam Nee it's nighttime and he can't see really well what's going on. Yeah. And the two of you are sort of chatting. You're reassuring him, and he's asking you questions. Like you said, you're trying to fortify his resolve. I would say, Graham, with your passive perception of 20, you recognize exactly what's happening. Tados is bringing Liam Nee to the church, and you see them before they see you.
And I remain steadfast, continuing towards the river.
Okay, so we're gonna cross paths with him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna walk past him.
Okay, Tados, you see Graham carrying a baby that's wailing, and actually Liam Nee's like, oh, that's her. That's baby Lotus, and he actually runs up to you, Graham. He's like, what? Why is my child in a cage?
And I just like continue walking, like looking forward, and I say, this isn't your child.
What? Drop her right now.
And I
come running up as well.
He's gonna try to hit you.
Mr. Nee, stop.
You see him wail on Graham a little bit. That is a 14 to hit you.
Oh, hit by one point.
He's gonna deal 5 points of damage.
Okay.
To you. So he punches you in the back of the head really hard.
Of course he would.
And Quintus runs up and steps in between them and says, whoa. All right. I don't know what is going on here. And I give Tados a stern look. But it looks like we're going to need to talk about this and explain exactly what's going on.
Tados, what's happening? Let me at him! And he's gonna try to beat you in a strength contest, Quintus, to have you release him so that he can continue attacking Graham. So roll a strength check for me.
All right.
I rolled a 9.
Reset. Unless the roads are slick right now, I rolled a 20.
Nice.
So you easily keep a hand on this wriggling man as he tries to shoulder you away from
And I'll
him.
say, as he like hits me in the back of the head, and I sort of stumble forward, Graham like turns around as Quintus enters between them, and there's like a literal fire in his eyes that like flashes for an instant as he looks at Liam Nee, and like through gritted teeth, Graham, like you can see him clench his fist, and a little bit of like spark flies out, and then he sees him sort of try to push back Quintus, and Quintus sort of easily combat him, and he shakes his head and continues walking towards the river.
Jesus.
And Liam Nee's like, obviously he's just like crying and sweating and swearing with rage. You get back here! You're some vile... And yeah,
Mr. Nee,
old-timey
Mr.
swears.
Please.
Why did you bring him, Tados? What were you thinking?
I thought it would be helpful. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know what to expect to see. I thought perhaps the child would be sitting and he would get a good glimpse and understand it wasn't his child.
Leah's like, Graham, what are you doing?
And Graham, again with furrowed brow now and sort of red eyes, he continues towards the river, and he says,
Yeah, you're almost there.
and he's like, and I shout out, either the hag will reveal herself, or this creature will drown. And with might, not with might, but he sort of swings the cage and tosses it deep into the river.
And Liam Nee's like, no, what are you doing?
As the heavy iron cage like splashes down into it, and he's holding onto the chain, obviously. That's the reason that I brought the chain. And as it like smashes into the river, and you see the baby as the cage sort of sinks into the deep part of the river.
I mean, the cage is underwater. It's a metal cage. The baby's not a flotation device.
Yeah. Well, I just was being cinematic with like the slowness, but sure, it just does that.
Does anyone intend to stop Graham from what he is doing?
No. In fact,
I think Liam Nee's gonna try to make one more strength check to see if he can get out of Quintus's grasp.
Well,
that's
a
10.
I let him.
You let him, okay. And sorry, what were you gonna say, Tados?
Well, I'm gonna cast Charm on Liam Nee.
Nice, good call.
Okay,
so that I can calm him. Really,
I'm going to make a wisdom save.
Yeah, I'm still kind of confused on saving throws. So this saving throw, he has to get under his wisdom. Is that correct?
No. So
what's a wisdom saving throw?
Your spell text is making him make a save against your spell casting abilities,
which is my DC.
Yes, so you have a spell save DC that he is trying to roll higher than.
Okay. So my 13, what did he gain?
I rolled a 16, and I haven't statted out William Nee's wisdom, but I figured that's automatically. So he turns back at you and just kind of shakes it off and starts running towards the river. He's still a good, 40, 50 feet from Graham as his daughter is drowning in the river. This should probably be in initiative order because this is a conflict, but I'm just going to let it go kind of freeform, I think. Graham, you see Liam Nee charging towards you.
And
Graham and Quintus follows after soon.
Okay,
and Graham has thrown the stake of the chain to the ground and jammed it in with his foot as he's like staring at the cage, searching the water, and he can hear the man approaching from behind him, and he turns around, and with a flick of his wrist, he starts Sacred Flame, sort of burning from the tip of his fingertips, and points it at Liam Nee as he's running, and he says, "I will strike you down." And I'll roll an Intimidate.
Okay.
With a 15 plus 2, 17.
Okay. I'm gonna say this does not intimidate him.
Okay.
Because he's so desperate right now. Quintus, you're running alongside Liam Nee as he approaches Graham. Okay.
Running behind him, trying to catch him. I had a momentary lapse in judgment, and I'm chasing after him to
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean
Do you have to do that
I'm
now?
so sorry. I'm gonna remember next time. I'm in the moment. I got caught up.
I'm going to try to catch up to him and catch him.
Okay. Why don't you make a dexterity? We'll do a dexterity contest actually. So it'll be my dex versus yours.
I rolled a 20 total.
Nicely done. I rolled a 9. So you catch him essentially, just as he's about to swing again for Graham, and you pull him back.
And Graham like doesn't move, but like as he gets closer, the flame burns hotter as if he is going to cast it. So
that's a cool image, actually.
Yeah,
like the two of you running towards the riverbank,
and like Graham like not
it's just
moving,
like getting like
it's
a
getting
bigger
brighter
fireball.
and brighter. Yeah, and his eyes are getting like darker and darker, like flashing back to that night, and he's just remembering it.
Graham, remember what we're doing here.
When you tackle him in time, though, right?
Oh yeah, I tackle him in time. I'm holding him on.
Okay.
I'm onto him, and he's spitting and shouting at you, and I'm shouting too. It's probably just all blurring together.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Leah has actually run to the edge of the river, but she's kind of like halted in indecision at the riverbank, and she's just like trying to peer down into the water, and she can't see the cage. She's a halfling. She doesn't have any dark vision. She can't see anything that's happening.
And I'm gonna cast lights under the water.
Under the water?
Yeah, because it's just like orbs, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
So the grisly scene of a child drowning to death is illuminated beautifully. And indeed, Baby Lotus dies.
Okay. I mean,
I don't want to get too graphic about this because that's kind of miserable, but a child drowns to death. And as Liam Neeson sees this, he sinks to his knees limply out of Quintus's arms and just starts hitting the ground and crying.
I walk over to Liam and I stand, and then I kneel down in front of him, to his level, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and he may brush it off, but
yeah, he just like tears himself away from you, and he actually crawls away from you in the dirt. He's like, what have you done?
And Graham is like breathing heavy and hot as he's like frantically searching the water for like the hag moving. And as he does, he's like looking back towards Liam Nee and then back towards the water, and like he like slowly starts realizing that the hag's not coming to save it, and the reality of what he's just done is like slowly dawning on him, and for a moment he's like breathing slower and like less angry, and the fire behind his eyes begins to sort of flicker a little bit. And that night, all those years ago, when he jumped on that man and stabbed him and killed him, that heat that took over him in the moment and the realization that came afterwards flashes back in his mind. And for a moment he feels sober, looking at the child just floating within the cage underneath the water, and he just sort of stares at it, and the color drains from his face.
And as Graham is realizing his own reality, I'm forcing Liam to stop and listen to me by standing in front of him, and now forcing his shoulder and stopping. He's crawled away from me. I've stepped in front of him, and I say, Liam, you have to understand, that was not your daughter.
No, I saw her.
Listen to me, and I slap him across the face. Listen to me. Your daughter was killed weeks ago by those demonic hag fiends. You have to trust us. That was not your daughter. That was a fiend. That was merely looked like your child. You have to believe me. You have to. The reason I brought you here was not to beat around the bush, not to pepper you with lies, but to tell you the truth, to bring the reality. And I'm sorry that you had to see this, but had you seen the being when we had it in the church, you would have known this was not your child. It was not your baby Lotus. It was something else entirely.
And Graham, who's still been staring at the cage, sort of turns back toward Liam Nee, his eyes now filled with tears, Graham, and he looks down at the father who's collapsed on the ground. I'm so sorry. And we're going to stop there for the mid-game post.
That's heavy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time where we stop the action and we jump to the Discord chat.
Hope everyone likes Killing Baby.
That was good. Fuck, that felt really good. That felt very cinematic. Not killing the baby, that felt sad, but I really liked
rich.
Yeah, well, because I really liked that. I like that. Anyway, mid-game post, what's the question?
Good.
What did they do to the baby that was not hurting anybody?
Well, I mean, I don't. The best part about this is that I don't regret. I do think that creature needed to die, and I think this was the best way to.
Just how it happened.
Well, that's kind of the best way. Yeah, but realistically, a knife. Like, you know, what are the options here? It's pretty horrific.
No. I mean, with the father standing right there, or who
that
thinks he's
to
the
me
father,
made it really like
way more intense,
cinematic, and fucking I like that. And the parallel, I mean, you guys don't know Graham's sort of criminal story yet, but like the parallel of that, the heat of the moment taking him away, and then the absolute crashing down to reality is like paralleled in his backstory, which is really neat. Anyway,
mid-game post is going to be a nice easy one. So for anyone who is paying attention during the long slog of combat, I know that can sometimes run a little bit slowly during rules-heavy games. You will know this easily, and the question is, who dealt the most damage to the hag? Question mark.
So far.
Who dealt the most damage to the dag?
That's right. Who hagged the hamage? God, I was hoping that would happen.
Now, is this total? Is this including both games? Yep. Or is that including just... Okay.
It's the same either way, actually.
Do who welt the dose to mamage who the tag.
Sorry about that, everyone. But sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Maybe you should say.
I don't think that baby was a good person. I mean,
I feel like
father.
I could, but I'm not going to.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's like, not that there's anything wrong with saying sorry, but I feel like it's kind of like saying sorry after like directing like a sad movie. Like, what's the movie like?
Yeah.
What is a sad movie like?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I totally agree. It's like apologizing for.
It hurt.
Me
like,
neither.
It felt kind of like, oh
yeah.
No.
It's not that we did it with pleasure. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like ha ha ha. It was like, oh man, it was just appreciative. But I get also what Joe's saying in the sense of that you might not have been prepared. But mind you, if you've seen last episode, you should have been prepared to watch your baby die because it was sort of par for the course with this adventure. So no, I'm gonna say no.
Let me just say, like we could have easily said played at Meta, and I could have been in the house of
played at how?
Meta. Whatever. Meta. That's how I say meta.
That's okay.
It's cute.
You can pronounce words the way
we could have played it like that, and we could have discussed and said, and I could have said, I'm going to bring Liam Nee back, and then you guys could have said, no, don't do that because that's a bad idea.
No,
but
I love the way that.
No, I didn't want that
play it.
I'm happy that happened.
Yeah.
Me too, because I feel it was a wrong choice.
No, I don't think so.
I think it made honestly less
better.
Like strategic sense, but it made the story better.
Oh, yeah.
And it is what Quintus wanted to do, is like you actually had a number of one-on-ones with him. Like you wanted to involve him from the beginning to let him know that we had the kid and all that stuff.
Yeah, you promised him, didn't you, Quintus? You're like, I promise you I'm going to bring this guy back.
I know, I did.
I did bring it back. He's over there. Oh, no. That sucks.
Rough stuff.
Anyway.
Well, what I'm thinking, I mean, like, whether or not he believes that it was actually a hag is kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of irrelevant because he just watched what he thinks is his daughter die. That's like, if this was the age of the internet, then it would be 100% worse, but it's still pretty bad. Like,
he would have filmed it with his cell phone and then sued us.
these fucking undefeated are shit. Like, these guys are horrible. Like, they fucking kill babies. Like, my God.
Yeah,
And I'm just
really.
like, what an interesting story concept. Like, if this changes the entire undefeated, like, tune and angle.
It's an interesting reputation to garner. Baby killer.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to see what happens if we can still like detect evil from a corpse, which I guess would still make sense, wouldn't it?
So I'm gonna roll a d10. We have 9 correct answers on the board. So good job, everyone. Answer number 7. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dustin. Dustin is the 7th correct answer. Congratulations, Dustin. You get XP.
And congrats, Graham, for doing so much damage to the creature.
You did so much. I mean, I love when non typical damage dealers are able to bring out the big numbers in a combat.
Big guns. Yeah. Well, did you get a natural 20 last time too?
No, that's just because I have divine whatever to do maximum damage.
Yeah, that's one of your
he hits pretty hard.
domain abilities.
Yeah. It's just that the spell slots are the problem, right? You can't do it all the time. So.
Exactly.
Well done, Dustin.
Well done.
Act break. Now jump 5 years in the future.
Well, it all worked out. We're all drinking samosas.
Feed up. Remember 5 years ago when we killed that baby?
Samosas?
We've had so many adventures since then. But,
man, I want a samosa now.
Or mimosa.
I want both. I want a samosa in one hand and a mimosa.
I was going to say samosa.
Drinking samosas? Did I say
Sangria, samosa, mimosa.
It's a sangria mimosa.
This pea is stuck in my straw.
Oh God, there's like pieces of potato floating around.
I do love samosas.
Yeah, man. God, now I want Indian food.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we return to Chapters of the Undefeated.
We love that. Without further ado.
Episode 10.
Adieu.
Adieu.
Honk. So Liam Nee kind of ignores everything that's happening around him at this point and starts crawling to the riverbank and makes it to Graham's feet and starts pulling the chain, dragging this cage back up onto land, crying and
I bend down and I help him.
And he throws your hands off of him. Doesn't let you.
I still do it.
He doesn't let you.
He can't not let
his
me.
Hands and his hair.
He can do a strength check. He's gonna try to keep you away from this chain. This is my chain. You gotta beat a 15.
Oh man. All right, just because I want to help.
No.
Even though I killed his baby. No.
Stay away.
I'm really
successfully
hoping
stays
it
away.
comes out looking like a nasty hag or something. You know, I'm just hoping it took its true
I don't think
form.
it's gonna look like a baby.
So I stand
Quintus
back up.
standing there with his hands over his head, like wide-eyed, like oh my
Yeah.
God.
And tell me about this cage. Does it have a latch? Is there a lock? What is the... So he ends up pulling the body of his child up onto the shore. He's like leaving tracks in the wet sand with his cage as he pulls the body towards him, and he like gets up and crawls towards it, and the limp body of a dead child is in the bottom of the cage. And she's skinny, and she's like, you know, she just dealt with a lot of abuse until, you know, the last couple of weeks. And so he's trying to get this cage open. What? I don't remember. I don't think there's a lock, was there?
Probably. I mean, I would have made sure that the witch wouldn't have been able to just take it out. But before anything, at the minute it comes to... I'm going to roll insight on it. Just to make sure it's dead, which sounds morbid, but... It's a fiend, who knows? So 17.
Or a fae.
Insight. It's a drowned child. I mean, what are you trying to discern?
To make sure that it's actually dead.
That would be a medicine check.
Same result. I have +5 for that too, so 17.
Yeah. It's dead.
Okay.
You don't
It's sad.
see any breathing. You don't see a pulse from
Just
where you're
checking.
standing.
I mean, I don't know these creatures, so I mean, it seems easy to, you know.
Liam Nee's like found a rock and he's like banging at the lock on the cage.
I
to try
bend
to
down
get
with
it
the
open.
key and I open it.
And he like opens it with like shaking hands and like grabs the child out, and he's like CPR has never been invented. The people don't know how to do like life-saving measures, but he's like just holding his child and rocking and like brushing the damp hair off of her tiny face and like opening her eyes and looking in her mouth and like holding her little hands to his face, and he's just rocking back and forth in the dark crying.
I kneel down next to Liam and I say again, "Your child, she was gone many weeks ago. I don't mean to take away from this moment, Liam, but remember that you've got 2 beautiful children at home that are alive and well, that need your assistance. They need you to be there for them, because this evil witch is still out there looking for children. You see, it eats children. It eats children and it rebirths them as its own. It's a terrible, terrible beast."
Roll persuasion.
Use an inspiration.
I was just about to say, I think I've got something that somebody gave me. I'm going to use
There's
Johnny's.
a community pool of.
There's a pool right now. We've got Megan, Dawn, we've got Bjorn.
Thanks.
I have not used Johnny's because he donated XP specifically to me. And so,
Yanni or Laurel?
Johnny.
Oh, John.
I think it was Yorl.
Laurel.
So I'm going to use that for a persuasion, and oh my fucking god, a 3 and a 3.
No.
Thanks, Johnny.
Nice.
This was such a hinge-worthy roll.
So
Liam Nee like stands up and he starts walking towards his house with the body, and he turns back over his shoulder and he says, "Oh no, the fucking Undefeated are supposed to be doing in towns like these in Salosal. But I don't want to see you on my doorstep ever again."
Oh.
And he goes inside and slams the door.
As an Undefeated, I'm feeling very defeated right now.
Well, okay.
Yeah. My thoughts too.
No, I just wanted to know if. Okay, all right.
Well, say what you're thinking.
No, Joe answered it.
Yeah, what's up?
No, you answered it. I want to know what 0 hit points versus dead is. Like, I don't. Like, if it was one of us in that same scenario, we would just die, or would we be at 0 hit points? Like, I don't know. Does 0 mean dead? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
Or is dead different? Is it like lower than 0? Like, I don't really get that.
There's no lower than 0. When you're at 0 hit points in D&D 5th edition, you start making what are called saving throws.
Right.
You can do you roll a d20 and you either succeed or you fail on your death saves. This baby was auto failing because it was underwater.
Okay. And based on the time and all that kind of stuff, it just wouldn't have mattered.
Yep, because this baby has such a low negative constitution, being a newborn and having endured such harsh treatment that basically, 2 rounds after, which is like 12 seconds after being under the water, it was just dead.
Okay, just checking.
Yep. So Liam Nee goes inside, and you start to hear, the keening of grandparents and the screaming of little girls, and lights go on kind of all around his house with the noise.
Probably lights going on around over the neighborhood with all of the commotion we caused.
Correct. And it's about 4:30 in the morning, so the most industrious of laborers are already getting up around now anyway, but yeah, it's still dark out.
I turn to the 3 of them I assume Leah's out here with us too.
Yep. Leah's just kind of, she's like sitting in the mud by the riverbank, just looking at the water.
So I turn to the other three and I say, we've got to somehow get this hag and show the people that we're here for a good reason and not to kill children.
I didn't believe that there's any way we can do that.
Why don't we go back to the hag's lair and kill it on its own ground?
Leah turns towards you, Quintus, and you can see that her little face is streaked with tears. And she's like, yeah, that's what we should do. We injured her enough that she had to run away from us. We should go and destroy everything that she has.
You realize what we've done? Eh? With this? With all of this. And I'm not pointing the finger just at you, Graham, or at you, Tadros. I'm pointing it at me too. We have sullied the name of a good cause. Just because we decided to do things in a horrible way. Go into the cave and defeating this thing that is destroying the town and causing these nightmares is the only thing we can do. But whether the people believe us afterwards doesn't matter. Because we've already done the harm.
We cannot allow ourselves to buy in to the feelings that Liam Nee has bestowed upon us. Graham says with like tears in his own face, and he wipes them and he stands up. We know that that creature was a fiend, regardless of how we feel right now, and regardless of how it looks for the undefeated. It was the right call to end that creature's life, for all of the harm it would have caused. Leah's right. The hag is hurt. She's retreated to her home. We'll follow her and end this once and for all, and we will have the church. Constance herself detected the evil in that baby, as did Quarrel?
Creany.
Leah's
like, yeah, we knew that it had to be disposed of. We knew that this was no child, and the religious people in this town, they knew too that we're not lying.
Exactly. And I turn to Quintus.
We're not monsters.
We're not. We will ask. The only monster here is the hag dude that had consumed that poor child and turned it into that creature. We will ask Constance and the other church members to visit Liam Nee and set the truth right, so that we can repair the name of the undefeated that we sullied this night.
Good. I am also in agreement with this.
And we will travel to the hag's lair now, and we will kill it and end this once and for all.
Let's just kill this fucking hag.
Let's do it. I want its throat.
So we'll head to the church. We'll ask Constance to speak with Liam Nee and explain the situation. And despite the anger and my apologies for acting the way I did, that it was in fact...
Yeah, go on.
It was in fact a fiend that we killed. And I feel like having her and the other church persons that were all witnesses should hopefully give credit to the...
Yeah. And I feel like we can do this in a montage.
That's what I'm saying. We do that, they do that, and then we leave, and we start heading towards the hag's lair.
And I like Zia's idea, group hug for sanity gain.
Yeah.
You know? And so
absolutely. Graham would hug Leah the minute she turned with street face. He'd walk over and like hug her as a child.
Group
hug.
hug.
I put my arms around Leah and Quintus.
Undefeated
and
group hug.
In fact, he'd be probably saying what he just said as he was holding her and being like, "We are not the monsters that we were perceived as tonight." And yeah, and then I think we montage that. And I think we start heading towards that hag's lair.
Yeah. So again, it's a long, dark trip. And we've been there before, but things are a little bit different now than they were. As the sun begins to come up, is kind of intersects with the time that we start approaching this swamp. And we recognize, the dark mud and the sickly trees reaching for the sky. And we recognize the way that the river widens and starts to encroach on the land. Maybe if we roll high enough on our survival checks, we even recognize our own footsteps traveling the same direction as we left for the hag's lair the previous day. But we begin to, one by one, become affected by hallucinations. We begin to see visions of pale bodies, tortured, murdered bodies of maybe people we love, maybe the faces of people we failed in our lives, maybe the people that we always wanted to be, maybe ourselves. So I would like to hear a little bit from each of you about the visions that accost you as we stumble through the dawn in this swamp. With whoever wants to start. Everyone is seeing these like awful visions.
I'll go ahead if you have something, unless you have
Please.
something, Graham.
No, that's fine.
As I'm standing there leaning against a tree, my brow is sweating, and I wipe my brow and I look up, and there I see me, except I'm not a tiefling. I'm a human, very handsome, tall, and I've got my family there, and I have a child, and I don't have children, but I have a child in the image, and I know it's my child. It's almost like a living dream, this hallucination. It's so vivid and so real. And I pick up my child, and then I turn to my parents, and they turn into dust and blow away. And I look at myself. My human figure looks at myself, and he says to me, "You see this child? It's not your child." And he reaches in to the chest, and he very gruesomely rips out the child's heart, and it shows in his hand, and it's thumping, and then it all goes up in flames.
Oof.
And I'm sort of in shock, and I fall to my knees, and then onto my haunches.
And then when you look back up, the vision is cleared, and you realize that you've kind of lagged behind the party, the three of us trudging forward, and you pick yourself up.
Slowly, almost don't even want to. I drag my hands into the mud, and I lean forward, and I fall onto my chest, and I put my face into the dirt. And then I get up slowly, crawling at first, and then I stand up and continue walking.
Who else
wiping
is
the tears?
Aw. Who else is seeing a terrifying vision?
You can go next, Quintus.
It doesn't have to be everyone.
Well, I'm seeing one. I picture myself as I'm trudging through the mud. I have a vision of myself, an actual memory, where I'm standing in my father's throne room, the Lancaster throne hall, beautiful blue banners hanging from pillars, and my father sits on the throne, and I stand before him as just a wee lad, maybe 7, maybe 8 years old, and he sits on his throne. You'd think that my father would be able to get off his damn throne for a second and talk to his son, half-son or no. But he doesn't. He sits on it. And I have my head bowed. For just earlier that day, I'd been spending time with a friend. This was before I'd been tutored. And it was my idea to play on the mill to try to climb on the mill as it was spinning downward. I did all right, but my friend, one of the courtiers of House Lancaster, he wasn't so lucky. And my father's booming voice echoed through the halls as he said, "You made a big mistake doing this. Bringing someone... You killed him. You know that, right? You did it. You are not worthy of the name Lancaster." And I almost walk into a tree. I'm so distracted by this memory. And my heart sinks as my boot sinks further into the mud. And I try to pull it out. And I look up and I see that the group is looking back at me.
Quintus, are you okay?
Let's just kill this hag. And I slip my boot back on, and with steely reserve, I wipe the tear from my eye, and I push ahead in front of everyone else.
Nice.
Graham hangs back behind everyone, bringing up the rear, trudging along as the sky growls with thunder. And he thinks just hours ago as he stood on the shore watching the cage under the water and the lifeless body within it, and how that moment of anger, that absolute anger that consumed him, faded away. It reminded him of a past. And for a moment he's taken back to a stormy night in Rowson, the wind pelting the storm shutters on the tavern as Graham sits in the back corner after an afternoon of thieving. He drinks heavily as the pub becomes rowdy. The storm is angry outside, the boats rocking heavily against each other on the piers as patrons enter, busily tying down their vessels, eager to wet their lips with ale. Young and angry, Graham stares daggers at the men as they walk in. He's looking to pick a fight, but no fight came. Later that evening, a bard starts playing a tune that Graham couldn't care less about. He looks over. He sees a man approaching to ask the bard to play something else. I wasn't even particularly upset about it. I didn't care for the song, but I was so eager to pick a fight. I took offense to the man's request. I stood up. I walked over to him, drunkenly speaking to him, angrily chewing him out. I was enjoying that song. I remember saying through gritted teeth, spitting flecks of saliva at the man, slurring my words. The man was older than me, obviously not intimidated by some young 20-year-old kid. He was patient with me. He dismissed my attitude. He shot back. He's played it 3 fucking times already. Take a seat before you hurt yourself. I saw red and I swung wildly. I missed completely. The bar stirred like a hornet's nest and came upon me. I swung wildly, hitting the odd person here and there, but in a moment they had me completely immobile. They tossed me out to the back of the tavern, slamming into the wet mud. I was fuming. I sunk into the shadows and I waited. Hours passed as the fire within me burned red hot, a fire which I still feel to this day. I waited for the man to exit. Hours later, the rain fell thick, wet drops on my neck as the man exited the tavern alone. I rose from behind some barrels covered in mud, my long hair hanging over my eyes, my vision blurry from the tears and the ale, and as the man turned towards me, I leapt upon him, pinning him to the ground with my muddy knees. Through gritted teeth, hard enough to chip stone, I sunk my daggers into him over and over again, quickly drawing blood out into the dim lamplight. The man gasped and gurgled as the life left his eyes, me the whole while smiling, until the man moved no more. Slowly the fire in my drunken eyes began to dwindle, the same way it dwindled hours ago on the shore, the realization dawning on me slowly. For a second I shook my head as if waking from a stupor. I looked down at the dead body, pinned to the mud before me, the twisted expression on the man's blood-speckled face. I sat back, soberly, quietly, as the rain pelted the barrels and objects around me. Fear washed over me, followed by pain in my stomach. Just time froze. And after what seemed like an eternity, I began to cry. Weakly, I lifted the man, but only slightly, my weight still on him. I begged, I pleaded that he was still alive, but he was not. By this time, another had exited the bar and spotted me. He froze, staring at me in the face, and I looked back at him. For a moment he was panicked, and then I spoke through the thunder. Fetch the warden, I said with tears streaking down my face. I pled guilty and spent 15 years serving my time, and that feeling, that all-consuming rage that consumed me only hours ago, was that same rage I felt that night. And Graham looks up towards the three ahead of him, wiping the tears from his eyes, and tries to catch up.
Awesome. We're learning so much
really.
about everyone. Leah, I think, is kind of just stumbling through the waist-high mud. And she is remembering the look of a drowned child, of baby Lotus, and remembering the first time she ever saw a dead body when she was a real young little hobbit. She was at her parents' home. They live on stilts above the floodplains in the south of the country. And she remembers waking up one morning and seeing a drowned body and not really understanding what she was looking at, being so young, being the only one awake, as the body was limply being thrust against the supports on her house in the shallow waters of this floodplain, and the way that its skin was peeled away from its bloated flesh, and the way that its eyes stared sightlessly up at the sky, and the way that its bloated body smelled and moved unnaturally in the current, and how she sat there watching the body move in the water until her mother woke up and realized that there was a sailor that had drowned and washed up, and that her baby daughter was its first witness. And she looks around the swamp and sees images of this corpse everywhere she walks, until we are well into the morning hour. It's maybe 7 in the morning. The sun is up above the horizon now, and everyone is sort of wandering around in their own terrifying visions, pursued by guilt or ill feeling. And that's when we oh, sorry, Tados.
I was gonna say, listen here, you saps. I think we're all feeling a little down in the dumps. I say we pitch a camp here. We know the Hag's Lair is just over that horizon. We pitch a camp here and have a fire. We can cook up some of the food that we have and get some rest, and maybe we can chat and get ourselves together for the morning.
I think we need to make a plan for sure. And I would like a fire. I would like a fire.
I would too. And then we'll be better prepared to face this hag and take her down once and for all. Both of them. Because there's two. Let's not forget it. Who's with me? Let's pitch a camp.
Okay. And Leah sets to helping Tados.
Quintus is reluctantly looking back. He's a few steps ahead, and he's got the look of just come on, let's just get this over with.
Yeah, and Graham feels the same, seeing that look in Quintus.
Gripping his spear tightly, but he looks over at Graham.
And and Graham turns towards Tatus and Leon and says, "If we take a moment to rest, the hag will do the same. We've dealt a great deal of damage to her this day. I feel like we should finish the job."
What time of day is it?
It's like 7 in the morning, 7:30.
Oh, I thought it was at nighttime.
No,
No,
so
it's
Oh,
like
right,
4
right,
a.m.
because we've been hiking for the last 34 hours. Okay.
that's right.
And we hit her pretty hard, if I remember correctly.
Well, and I look at Leah. Do you have the strength to go on?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't use any spells when we were in the combat. I just was made to fall asleep. So, I'm okay actually.
Great. Then let's do this. Let's get her ramped up for it.
Ramped up.
We start
I
playing
was singing Thunderstruck.
Oh.
Whoa.
Like we're going to soccer and we're
Funny
13
story.
years old.
That's
Eye
where I
of
was
the
going with that
tiger.
one.
Like
That
we're
was
13
my,
years old in soccer.
That was my high school's anthem.
If you cast a spell and it
Funny
doesn't
story,
work,
that was Alex used to be on a soccer team called, what was it? Thunder.
Lightning.
Lightning.
The Lightning.
And my dad always used to play that song, dropping him off.
That's-
Look at you excited. Were you in the back seat that time?
Yeah.
Aw.
I was
you
there.
remember certain things.
That's sweet.
If you cast a spell and it's not successful, does it still take one of your spell slots?
Yep. So how are you doing for spell slots, Tatos? Because
I've
you've
got-
used Charm Person, you've used like quite a few spells.
No. Only charm person.
And ray of
Yep.
fire, whatever. Or
Scorching
That's,
ray.
Scorching ray.
I actually did not. Remember, I was going to, and I ended up using my dagger.
you used the dagger instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And I used
Graham
my thaumaturgy a few
used
times, but
Shatter.
Yeah.
You
I have
used-
3 level 1 spell slots left.
Okay.
and I have
used
two
my
level 1
two-
and 2 level 2.
I used my 2 level 2 and I used 1 of my level 1. So
Coolio.
But that's fine. That's guiding bolt 3 times.
I trust you guys to keep track of all those expendable resources, superiority dice, and spell slots, and hit
Yeah.
points, and all that crap.
What's all that? What's that?
Oh,
Superiority
I'm
guy
kidding.
is what I
actually, you know what? On that
What is
note,
spell slot?
I will take a short rest because fucking.
Okay, that
stupid
means we're
Liam
gonna have to
Nee-
stand around for an hour.
It's alright.
Oh, never mind then. I'll just wait. It's only
Okay.
5 hit points anyway. It's stupid Liam Nee had to punch me in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, for the record, for those watching who like whatever, I absolutely, which I was excited to do, but I decided not to, had a Wrath of the Storm thing where anyone who
Ooh.
does damage to me
Yeah,
has to do a dex saving throw. So just for the record, I could have fucking zapped the shit out of that guy when he punched me.
Kind of funny.
It would have been really funny, but I thought cinematically, it kind of, I wanted him to have the option to run towards me before I did something. But
And Tatos, you're down 1 HP as well
Just
from
one.
jumping through that window.
Yep. I'm aware. I'm keeping track.
Excuse me.
all right, let's go carve us a witch.
Let's do it.
What's that sound?
That's a chainsaw. That's Evil Dead.
Oh.
You'll
I
get
thought
there.
we all got in a
Oh,
motorboat.
yeah.
You're starting to imagine.
I'm not really sure about that either.
Is that
Evil
all
Dead
where we
2?
are?
It's
Theater
like
of the mind is so complicated sometimes.
It is. Chug, chug,
We're in a
chug, chug,
helicopter
chug,
now.
should have done the action.
Motor.
Oh god, amazing. Cool. So we
Trudge.
get to we trudge on to within sight of the hovel.
All right.
What do you guys want to do? What's the plan, guys?
Don't forget there's those plants. Those
I
vines
feel like we
that
killed
grab
most of
your
them, didn't we?
legs.
Yeah, I mean we killed them. I don't know if they regenerate, maybe.
Let's just go back in and finish this. Let's just. I run towards the hovel.
Cool.
No, I'll do.
And follow.
I'll do a perception first, and then I'll run. Because I'm not
Okay.
insane. And it is a 16 plus 5, so 21.
Graham, as you approach the hovel, you recognize that there is something bobbing in the shallow water that is adjacent to the hut that was not there last time we visited.
What is it?
It seems to be the pod of some plant.
I will set it aflame with sacred flame.
It's pretty big.
I will still attack it.
You're gonna attack this
Pod.
plant.
You make it sound like we weren't just attacked by plants the last time we were here.
So you approach this.
No, I don't approach. I stay as far away and cast sacred flame.
Okay, what's the
60 feet.
range? Okay,
So I'll be 59 feet away.
I guess make an attack roll against it. Do I have to make a dex save? What's the thing for sacred flame?
Oh, sorry. It's yeah, you have to do a dex saving throw.
Okay, well, a boat doesn't have a dex save, so it's just gonna.
Oh, it's a boat? Okay.
It's just gonna
A boat.
take a bunch of damage. Why don't you roll damage on that?
I know you could hear that,
Really?
but the stream couldn't.
All of us.
I know, but the stream can't. I muted my external mic.
Okay.
So don't you worry. Okay, so 1d8 radiant damage. And it's a 1.
Nice. So you singe this plant.
So it's just a boat then. This is how the hag travels, I suppose.
Well, you didn't know that. I just said that.
Okay, but now I would see it and be like, oh, that's a boat.
Would you? You're 59 feet away.
Well,
59 feet away.
I will roll insight so that way we can just call it a boat
That's a
and
very
not worry about it.
specific number.
You wouldn't roll insight, really.
Okay, well, I got 8
That's like
anyway.
trying to interpret someone's intentions.
Fair enough. Well, whatever the case, I failed because I did not roll very high. So I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, so you singe something that's in the water, and it bobs but makes no efforts to try to attack you. Why don't you roll another perception check for me?
Sure. 23.
Nice. You recognize the shape of this plant now that you are sort of coming up on it. Kind of resembles the drawing that was on the door of the hag's hovel.
The boat does?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like this?
Yeah, kind of. It's like oblong, and it's got all of these protrusions sticking out of it with like balls on the end. So it's like a bright green, sort of like organic looking. It's kind of like dewy looking almost, and it's got like these little pieces sticking out of it that are almost like reddish, and it ends in like a purple sort of dewdrop almost, and it's kind of in like a little folded shape, and it's just like bobbing on the water.
And it's large enough for a person.
Yeah, it's probably 6 feet, 7 feet long.
I'm gonna ask Leah. I'm gonna say, Leah, do you know anything of this? You're water-dwelling folk. You live on the ocean. Maybe even a nature roll, whatever she would think. I don't know.
It would be a nature roll, yeah. We'd have to get closer to it.
Okay, we'll approach. No, something seems off about this. And I talk to Leah and Tados, and I say, this is bizarre, because whatever this is, it was drawn on the inside of that trunk up there. Which...
Oh, yeah, it does kind of look like that.
But I don't understand why on earth you would draw your boat. I know that's meta, but I can't figure out why the fuck you draw it on your... This my boat goes here. So there must be some other reason to it. So yeah, I'll ask her to do a nature, and I guess we'll approach a bit. How close do you need to be, Leah?
I don't know. I need to see it up close a little bit. So Leah's gonna get, I think, within about 30 feet of it.
Of the boat?
Yeah. Of
Where did
this
the
like
boat? Where did the boat come from? I'm
It's
sorry.
just floating there.
But I thought this hag's lair was not near the river.
it is near the river. I mean, so this is a swampy area, but the river is still like flowing beyond the swamp. So we were told by the Nothic that the hag uses the river for transportation.
Right. Yeah. That's
This
right.
is
So
like
the boat.
it's not like directly up against the hovel, but it's like within viewing distance of.
I think, and this is where I interject, and because you guys are trying to figure out what the hell's with the boat, right?
Yeah.
And so I interject. I say, I think the boat simply tells us that the hag is at home. When we were here last time, the hag was not home. The boat was not present. Do you recall?
Yeah. Yes.
So why are we focusing on the boat?
Because first off, we don't know it's a boat. But most importantly, if it is a vessel, why was it carved on the inside of the creature's dorm? Why?
Note to all GMs into the entirety of the future of the world. Never use a noun that your characters are not supposed to know.
I said I'm trying not to. He's saying
anyway. So yep, so that's what's going on.
I don't understand why the fuck it's drawn on it. So
I'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, let's get close enough so she can do a nature check then.
Great. Leah rolled a 16 plus 3 is a 19, and as she approaches, she looks at this plant, and she's like, it appears to be I'm not familiar with this kind of plant, but it resembles something back home. I think it's carnivorous.
Like a fly trap, like a Venus fly trap.
Yeah, something like that. I think if you touch it, it's gonna react.
And I pick up a stone. Oh no, you know what? Let's not touch it, because it could be tied to the hag in some way. She might be able to feel when it's touched.
What, like, is the hag in a metal cage tied to the boat? What? I'm sorry. Never mind. It was a bad joke. Too soon.
Oh, I understand. Thank you, Leah. That's interesting. All right, let's all stay away from it. It's similar to these plants that we have in Vale called mercury fly traps.
I just threw a picture in the Discord.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, now I understand. What is that? I still don't know why that would be drawn on the door, but that makes sense. Okay.
Oh. Well, didn't you draw that last time?
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Oh.
That's drawn on the door there.
Yeah.
That's drawn on the door to the hag's
lair,
remember? But also on a boat.
Wait, didn't you draw that?
Oh my god. Yes, guys. The thing that I find interesting is that so we've established that the hag was using this thing for transportation, that the spindles or whatever on it, that when they touch they react, meaning they're probably very dangerous, so we're going to stay away. They might be tied to the hag. But the thing I don't understand is why the creature's transportation device would be drawn on the inside of the door. Like, it doesn't. Maybe she hangs the key there. I don't know. It just seems bizarre. That's all. It could mean nothing. I remarked at it. That's all.
Interesting.
Well,
let's attack the hag.
I agree. I didn't see a hag here, so let's just keep.
No, I agree too. Never mind.
I know.
Let's go.
I'm simply stating it out loud.
Good.
Let us go and attack the hag. For it will be the end all be all of us.
Right.
What?
That's right.
Well,
correct.
With hag, we must not shag. But instead,
I did attack this and it didn't react. So,
perhaps
maybe
if we rag on the hag.
All right, so we're gonna climb the mound.
Okay, Graham, lead the charge up the mound.
Yeah.
Towards the stump.
And we will open the door.
You do. You open the door, and unlike last time, you hear no baby crying from within the depths.
Excellent.
Is the drawing still there on the inside of the door? I touch it just as a matter of curiosity.
And you explode! No, nothing happens.
I thought maybe it was like a recall device. I don't know. I can't fathom why it would be there. So, anyway, let's. I turn to the other three, and I say, "All right. So the creatures are probably home resting. We haven't alerted them to our presence yet because no one has dropped anything down there."
That's right. Maybe I should. And I lean forward with a clump of dirt.
Yeah. No. And I think we should try to do this as stealthy as possible. Leah, there was a creature that you summoned before, an invisible man or something. What was that again?
That's my unseen servant. I did not prepare that spell today. I didn't think that we would need.
No, that's fine.
I have to spend time memorizing my spells, Graham. It's a very long process.
Leah, chill the fuck out. I was just asking.
Sorry, I just...
What do we think? Do we think sort of a slow approach? Should we just cast Thunderwave down there and see what sticks? What's the plan?
Nah, we go down. I'll go down first. Because chances are it knows that we've been here because the baby is not here anymore. And it's probably waiting there with a trap. So I'll go down first and trigger anything myself. Or maybe you go down first and maybe you can... Well, actually, you don't have dark vision. Oh, no, I'll go down. I'll try to spot anything.
Wait a second, Quintus. Graham, cast your shatter. You can cast it down there without actually being
Yeah, but that might be a waste, because if there's nobody down there...
And also, I can't cast Shatter again, but I can do Thunderwave.
So...
What?
We're all standing on top of this mound having a very loud argument.
We are
about...
not talking loud. I'm
everyone roll stealth.
Moderate at best.
Literally everyone roll stealth.
Yeah, maybe we don't really care about being stealthy, though. I mean, the thing is going to come up through this tiny little thing that we're standing in front of, so...
Everybody roll your stealth.
Leah
that's a natural 20.
Nicely done.
Stick it inside your heads.
Leah hasn't really been talking, so I failed my stealth check, but I did.
Oh, so you don't have to.
I got an 8, okay? I failed.
God, always gives herself. I got 5, so I totally bombed it.
Yeah, so Graham's kind of like just getting really exasperated, was probably super shook up by the fact that he's, visited by the ghosts of his past this morning and drowned a baby earlier.
And the fact that he has to deal with Tados' shit.
Yeah, just dealing with this fucking tiefling. It's the worst.
All right, well...
I turn to Tados and I say, do a thaumaturgy. Make the baby cry.
And at that moment...
I will do that.
Graham...
Yep, because they don't know it's dead.
Graham is hit with 3 magical darts, dealing 5...
Where is he hit?
6, 7, 8, 9 damage to you. All of them strike you simultaneously.
From where?
It's hard to tell. Everyone can
where do they land on
roll perception all around him.
From all sides?
Yep.
What the fuck?
All right. Is this initiative?
Flying fuck.
Yep. Everyone roll initiative.
Well, I rolled perception.
Ooh, that's a 2.
So that didn't. That failed.
13.
A 4 for initiative.
Sorry. Let's start that. Quintus got a 4.
Aye.
Tados, what'd you get?
I'm rolling right now. Initiative, I got a 3.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Totally nice.
The hag comes outside to see what the commotion is about. What's this commotion all about? Oh, it's you guys.
What'd you get,
The hag comes
13.
out with a couple of cigarettes. The hag's got a fag.
I just love those rhymes. You just
Gotta
love
love
those hag
'em.
rhymes, man.
There's so many good hag rhymes. Leah got a 20.
The hag comes out smoking a fag, dressed in drag.
Do we have all the combatants? Yes, and we have all of the people.
The shopping bag.
It's the laugh.
All right, guys, let's focus. I don't want to die, and I just got hit with 9 points of damage. Let's actually do good here.
Great, and it's gonna happen again, probably.
Awesome.
Probably. Thanks, DM.
Well, the thing about magic missile is that it just auto hits. And it's 3 missiles that each deal 1d4 damage plus 1, so that's 3, 6, 9 damage plus 3 is 12 damage to Quintus. Quintus, you are also struck from all directions by 3 magical darts.
All right.
I leap into the hole.
Well, it's not your turn.
Oh, right.
It's Leah's turn. So she is going to, I believe, as a bonus action, begin her blade song, which is going to boost her AC and etc. And then she does not have mage armor either. What's she going to do? She's going to cast Blur on herself. So Leah is enveloped in some whirring light and the sound of her yodeling song, which is TBD still. If anyone has any idea what Leah's blade song sounds like, I think she's actually singing, but I don't know what song.
Oh, say, can you see?
All About That Bass?
Absolutely not. Maybe All About That
That
Bass.
was your song.
What?
What was it? Your song.
Oh, say what's up now,
That's what I
motherfuckers.
mean. That one. Well, it's the same too.
This is my vow, motherfuckers.
I say make it that one.
No, it's not that.
Well, whatever.
She then casts Blur on herself and stands ready, staring all around. She's going to try to make a perception check to figure out where those darts came from with a perception of 12. She cannot see.
I have a passive 20. I still don't see them?
This is not a passive. A passive is like you walk into a house and you would notice, like, oh, that door's ajar.
Okay.
This is like literally actively looking for something.
Okay.
Stealth was +6, so that... Okay. I did roll a stealth for this creature that is attacking you, so I have a DC that you have to beat when you are rolling your perception. Up next, it is Graham. What happens, Graham?
First and foremost, I'm going to take XP from Megan, who was the first person to offer. Thank you, Megan. That's my inspiration back up to 1.
Hey, Megan. Nice done. Nicely done.
Perception, is that a full action if I roll perception?
Nope, that's just free.
Perfect. I'm going to roll perception. I'm not going to waste the whatchamacallit at that just yet. Hopefully it's not too bad. 21.
Yeah, you don't see...
What?
You don't see any creature around you.
With a 21? Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even the big eye thing?
Nope.
Okay. Then
Damn, I was hoping that big eye thing would.
Yeah, I really thought that would have worked. I'm gonna jump down the hole then, because I can't fucking attack anything if I can't see it.
Okay, you're gonna jump down the hole, or you're gonna climb down the hole?
Or climb down the hole. Let me think. Yeah, I don't have any other options. I will move.
You can ready an action. You can delay your turn. You can help a party member. You can like literally just run in a random direction to see if you can like bump into someone. You know what I mean? There's like, you can totally jump down into the hovel if you like. Maybe the darts are coming from down there.
How could the darts come from down there?
They're magic.
Is that actually a possibility?
Totally.
Oh.
These are magical darts. They are like homing missiles, basically.
Oh. Even though they don't see us? That's crazy.
Oh, you would have to be within sight.
Okay, so they can't be in the hovel then, because it's like a ladder, isn't it?
I will read you Magic Missile. You create 3 magic darts. Each dart hits a visible creature of your choice. Actually, you don't have to see them.
Oh, we just have to be visible.
Yeah. So if you're invisible, it wouldn't hit you.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
A dart deals 1d4 plus 1 force damage to its target. The darts all strike simultaneously, and you can direct them to hit one creature or several.
1d4 plus 1.
Yep.
That's 5 maximum.
Times 3 darts.
Yeah. Okay.
So I dealt.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to first and foremost cast Cure Wounds on myself because.
Okie dokie. So that's your action.
1d8. Yeah, and then I'm going to move after. So 1d8 plus my spellcasting modifier, which I think is 3 or 5. Oh, spellcasting modifier, is that the same as my spell attack bonus?
No, it's
so
just
it's only 3.
Yes.
So 5. Which is not very good. Where do I get my health? And then I'm going to...
I like Sound of Music for the Blade song. The hills are alive with the sound of Blade song. Yeah.
Alright, and then I'm going to... I mean, they have to be coming from the hovel. Yeah, so... God, I don't know. I guess I will move to... I will pick a side of the trunk, because there's like a trunk sticking out, right?
Yeah.
I will go to the east side and use it as cover and hope that... I don't know.
Bad idea.
Where the fuck else am I supposed to do?
Down the hole!
I will say that the entrance to the hovel is the north side of the trunk.
Okay.
Graham, you are moving to the 3 o'clock, going east. How far down the hovel do you want to go?
How far down the hovel?
Or are you just like getting to the other side of...
I just want to go against the log.
Okay, great.
Because she said that she doesn't have to see us, meaning they could be literally down there firing up, which would make the most sense because we were loud and they live there. So... Is there a distance on magic missile? I guess I wouldn't know that.
I mean, it's 120 feet.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't know. Then
It's a really
would
good
just
spell.
try to, stand next to the thing.
Bjorn, I don't think magic missile can go through solid objects. No, it has to have a clear path towards you.
Oh, then I shut the fucking door.
Cool.
And then I'm sure I can shut the door and go next to it.
We'll call that a movement action. You shutting the door is movement. So you do not move, you just close the door.
That's fair.
Cool. Next up, we have Nothing happens. Quintus, you're next.
Nothing happens.
Nothing
Really?
happens.
Then Quintus is next.
So there is no way of seeing where these... Where was I hit? Where did I get hit?
All over your body.
So 3 times...
Different directions.
All over in
Like a
different directions.
porcupine that you just tripped on and fell over.
That's right.
But you didn't
just like
see
that.
it.
But it's like an invisible porcupine, but with magical darts of force.
So I see I see Graham cover the hole, and I think maybe I will ready an action. Nothing happened, so I'll ready an action. Yeah, I'll ready my spear above the hole. If it opens, I'm just gonna stab in it. Did anybody climb down the hole yet?
No.
Okay. So if anybody climbs down, or if that opens, I'm gonna stab towards it. I'm gonna take my attack.
I would do a perception too, since it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And you need to fucking see it.
Yeah, and I'll be looking around, whipping my head over my shoulders just in case to see if I see anything. Oh, I got a...
good. What did I get last time? I had
19.
Yeah, you don't see anything.
Jesus.
Okay. I wrote count 3, and then I just wrote the word initiative, but I think that's supposed to be Tatos. Tatos,
what did you
your
write?
turn. I wrote initiative.
Initiative 3. Yes, that's my
3
initiative. That is what I wrote down for initiative.
That's you. You go. It's your turn.
I go down the hole.
Okay, so you
Oh,
open the door as a action, and then as a move
That's
action, you
right.
open the stairs.
I have
or
to
the
open the door.
ladder.
And I dive down. I don't bother using the ladder.
Okay.
Oh, wait. But how far is it? It's like only 5 or 6 feet, right?
It's pretty far. It's like maybe 15 feet.
Oh, no. Then
Yeah.
I'll climb the ladder.
Okay.
I'll climb the ladder down.
That's your whole movement, is getting to the bottom of the ladder, and you're
Great.
again standing in about 6 inches of water, looking around this room. It's kind of echoing with the dripping of water. You remember that there is an opening off to the northeast and off to the northwest.
I remember it well.
You have to go through some water to get into the room beyond. Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
And Tados, I believe you actually went into that other room as well, though you didn't investigate it fully. So that's your turn. I'm going to roll another stealth check.
Tinaka wunana ani.
What the fuck? All right, we got some more missiles coming on.
Oh, fuck.
This time the target is Leah, just spreading around the love. That's 6, 9, and 3 is 12 damage. Leah's like, and she takes a knee. She's not looking good.
Shit, man.
Leah's gonna roll perception. Where the fuck did that come from? And woofed it really bad. That is a 4.
Jesus.
All right, Graham, it's your turn. We are getting murdered.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll perception again.
Close the hatch.
Well, that's what we try to do, and then you jump down it and left it open.
Well, I'm down the hatch. I can't get through the door without opening the hatch. Close the hatch now.
19. Okay, 24.
God.
You do.
Thank you.
See the skulking form near to where the boat is hitched to the land.
Perfect. And I cast Thunderwave on it.
How far away?
It's about 60 feet from you.
Damn it.
Harlan checks
can I
his...
run?
It's 60 feet. You can
Thunder
run.
wave is different, right? Oh, it's a
15-foot cube out
From where you stand.
from where you are.
from where I am. So I'm 60 feet away from her?
Yeah, so you could double move and get right up there.
Yeah,
you
but then I can't attack. Okay, let me think.
So you see this shape.
Oh, man.
Come into the...
Let me think.
Hole
Can I
with
defer
me.
for till Quintus goes or something?
Yeah, you can delay.
Delay, sorry?
Hole with me.
Quintus has... I mean... Yeah. Okay.
What's the order? I forget.
Well, there's something that's happening now, which I... Ooh, interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Now it's Quintus's turn.
All right, do you see anything?
I pointed at it immediately, obviously, when I said it. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great.
That's so
you didn't
obvious.
say that, but...
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not going to say anything about the creature that's killing us.
This is a role-playing game, Harlan. Play the role.
There are certain things
so I'm
that
gonna shout
sort
down
of
the
just
hole
come with the
as Graham
territory.
points out-
I'll
as
tell you when
Graham
I take a
points out
shit
where
next time.
Where she is, when Graham points it out, I shout down the hole. I say, Tados, she's up here. Get back up here. And I'm going to...
Push me.
No, I'm going to run forward. Not all the way.
How many move actions would you like to use?
Just one.
Okay, so you're 30 feet. So you're
30 feet away from it.
her. Mm-hmm.
And I could use my action surge to attack her, right?
Only if you're up there.
Yeah, okay. I'm not good. Well, so Graham, your moves, your spells wouldn't be able to. That's too meta.
I'm just 15. I need to be 15 feet close, like away from her, and I'm 60 right now. So if I ran 30, I'm still out of range by about 15 feet.
I'm still out of range. All right, well then I'm gonna run right up there.
Cool.
And I'm gonna use my action surge.
Yep.
And I'm going to use...
You see the leering face of the hag that was menacing you earlier. Her iron teeth, her knotted hair.
I don't even try goading this time. I'm just going to strike in mad fury. And I'm going to use Bjorn's wonderful inspiration. that he gave.
His wonderful inspiration.
Wonderful
Thanks, Bjorn.
inspiration. All right, so that's 24 to hit.
Nice.
You do. You hit her.
All right, and that it would be apply after hit. I'm going to use distracting strike. I'm going to use distracting strike. So I've got one more superiority die after this, and so I do 1d6 and 1d8 damage plus 6.
Fuck.
Nice.
A 5, a 2, and a 6. So that's 13 points of damage with Drew Allen.
Okay. Chipping away.
And the next attack roll versus the target has advantage.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I'm
That
gonna
is
go.
up to you to remind the next attack.
Well, I'm going to go right now because I delayed, right?
Yeah, I'm going to move you in initiative order.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. You can use
So
your...
I will move and then I will cast Guiding Bolt.
Great.
So I will go
How far
30,
are you moving?
my full movement. So 30 feet closer, so I should be 30 feet away.
Yep.
And then I will do Guiding Bolt, which is a spell slot. And it is going to be, a ranged spell attack. I'm going to use that inspiration that I was just given. Or the advantage, I should say.
Yep.
From Justin. Oh, no. Fuck.
Did they both fail?
Probably. Spell attack. So 6 plus 5. So 11.
Yeah, you miss. You're trying to miss Quintus, but hit this hag, and because Quintus is right in the way, you go wide, unfortunately.
Shit.
Tados, it's your turn. You see your you're down in the bottom of the hole.
I'm in the hole.
Are you gonna come up and help, or are you gonna loot, or what's your plan?
Well, I don't know what's going on up there.
Well, I called down.
You
and said
did,
she's
yeah,
up
he
here.
did call down. Not that you
She
have to
is,
respond,
but there's two. Okay, so you called down and said she's up here, but there are two hags left.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
Right?
Am I
We
wrong?
don't
There's
know.
two
We haven't
hags
seen
left?
the other hag yet.
We haven't.
The Nothic told you that there is another daughter that's not Lotus who's still kicking around.
Somewhere. Okay, yeah, I climb up, I scramble up the ladder, back up. Excellent! And as I get to the top of the ladder, that's my movement.
Yep.
I would like to... She's how far away?
She's 60 feet from you.
That'll work just fine with my Scorching Ray! Which is 120 foot range.
Nice.
Instantaneous, casting 3 rays of fire at different targets, but I can hurl them at one target.
I would use some XP, by the way, to give yourself initiative or give yourself advantage.
I'm going to use an XP from Mike. Thank you, Mike. Kyle. And I'm going to roll. Hopefully, I don't get double 3s.
Oh,
So,
good.
20. Sick.
so you make 3 ranged spell attacks. So that's
Yeah.
1 crit.
3.
So you only have advantage on that first one.
Right. Say that again. Do I have to roll 3 die?
You do.
Oh.
It says make a ranged spell attack for each ray.
Okay. So a 20. A
Oh,
19.
nice.
Sick.
And a 19. Oh,
Fucking
Whoa! On a
you're
hit.
making up for last session.
So all 3
hard-
hit and 1 does double damage.
Okay, so,
So 2d6 for every hit.
roll 4d6 for your first hit.
Can he just compound them?
Yeah, I guess you
Like
can roll
8d6?
Roll 8d6.
Well, I've
Well,
already rolled
there's 4.
4. So,
Okay,
so
6.
Let's do that again.
8, 9, 10, 11.
11.
11. And then 2 and 2. So I'll just roll it again. 11. 20.
28 damage.
Oof.
28.
28 damage plus anything for wisdom or anything like that?
No, this you do not.
Good. We needed that.
That was
Mike,
fucking
thanks.
clutch.
It's like, I'm like, Hadouken! No, I don't say that. I go, and there's like this fire beam from my hand, and it's like 3 that come into one, and it goes straight into the chest of the hag.
So incredible. And Quintus, up close and personal, you can smell the body of this fiend just broiling. Her skin is like all charred up. Part of her face is melting off. Her hair is gone. It's a hot mess, literally.
You're gonna try to run away again now?
It's her turn. She disengages from you and disappears.
Fucking bitch.
It's Leah's turn. She's going to roll perception. And she's like still standing on top of the hovel. And she points upstream. She's like, over there! Over there! There's something in the water! And she's going to double move upstream of you guys. So this is like, you are moving kind of at a, like, so the hovel, sorry, this is like backwards. I can't figure it out. But the river is on the east side of the hovel. You guys were traveling in like array at like 2 o'clock towards the night hag. Leah travels in array, and she actually is able to move the full distance. And she ends up like in like a 4 o'clock direction. So she's maybe 40 feet away from you guys. And she's like, there's a woman in here. She doesn't have any action. It is the sea hag's turn. She is going to emerge from the water and use her horrific appearance trait. So she forces Leah to make a wisdom saving throw because she is so horrifying looking. And Leah failed, but she is a brave halfling, so she has advantage against fear effects. So she's going to roll again. And she fucking failed again. So Leah is frightened.
Damn it, Leah.
Which means she's going to have to run away on her turn. Quintus, you see this like dripping evil like creature emerge from the water. She's in the middle of the river, and she's awful looking.
When she disengaged, did he not get an attack of opportunity, or is it because she went?
Nope. Disengaging isn't as like you can just step away.
It's like an action.
Yeah.
And
actually, you know what? That's so true.
Go invisible at the same time.
No, you're so right. She cannot do both. So she's just gonna disappear without disengaging.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
You're right, because both of those are actions. Quintus, what happens?
I see the sea hag, and I'm going to duck behind the tree quickly, and I'm going to use my second wind.
Cool. So you're rolling for some hit points, getting a little bit of cover. You can do that yourself. Graham, what is happening?
Okay, I'm going to run into the hovel, I think.
Okay, so you're 30 feet away.
Yeah, so I'm going to use 2 movement actions to try to get down into the belly of the hovel.
Yep, you do it. Next, it is Tados' turn.
So she's unseen at this time.
The night hag is not visible.
And you guys are all down in the hovel?
No, just
I'm not.
Leah is looking at a sea hag who's in the middle of the river. Graham is in the bottom of the hovel. Quintus is on the riverbank having some Gatorade.
What do you
where
mean
are you, Tados?
What do I mean Leah's looking at a sea hag?
There's another creature.
You gotta pay attention.
There is. I kind of am.
Well, that's not. Don't do that.
Kind of.
Pay attention.
There's community stuff too.
I know. But,
I'm standing on the hovel where I casted the ray, and so I will. If there's two, I'm going to go down into the hovel as well.
Great.
And join Graham.
Okay.
And then we can split up and hit 2 different areas.
You do that.
So I travel down, and let's say, can I travel down and then travel from there too?
Yeah,
Because
you
it's gotta
can
be more
double
than 30
move.
feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go. Did you go anywhere, Graham?
I don't have enough to move. I'm gonna say, like, as you come down, I'm panicking. I'm like, you mentioned that this was their lair, these were the sleeping quarters that they were in down this hallway, correct?
Yes. And I cast dancing lights at that moment.
And I say, maybe there's something we can find in that room to help us. They're vacating this place right now.
Yes, let's go. And I advance without you.
Yeah, because I can't just.
Well, you can't cast dancing lights and double move, but irrelevant right now.
Fine, I just cast the dancing lights, and we'll move next time.
He's chugging an Estus flask. That's right, Jeff. It is Leah's turn. She's like standing agog, looking at this horrific face emerging from the water. Just for everyone who's curious, a frightened creature has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight. Creature can't willingly move closer to the source of its fear, so she can still attack it, and she does, casting her own magic missile at this fucking damp water hag.
With disadvantage, then? Or you don't have to, I guess.
I don't have to, because magic missile, you don't have to roll to hit. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage.
The moist hag.
The moistest hag. Moist hag.
Moist hag.
Great. And it is that hag's turn. Unfortunately, the hag has an action called Death Glare. The hag targets one frightened creature she can see within 30 feet of her. I have to make a wisdom save or very bad thing.
Make a wisdom save.
Make the wisdom
I have
save.
disadvantage because I am frightened.
Can you take XP to make it
Take
even?
XP to make it normal.
I should. I will
You
take
got one from Bjorn.
Bjorn,
I would have told Leah to take XP when she rolled the frighten as well, but
I'm taking it. Here I go. What is the DC 11 wisdom save? Nice. Okay, so I am unaffected. I'm also going to repeat my save.
I would also suggest
which I have
Leah
disadvantage
takes advantage.
on.
Oh, okay.
Unless you guys want me to use up another
Yes,
community
of course.
XP.
Use up another community XP. Yes.
How many
John's.
more of those do we have?
We've got
Lots,
2
probably.
left from Bjorn, 1 for Tados, and 1 for...
You guys are just like flipping it out.
What
One
do
for
you mean,
Tados and 1 for
Tados?
Graham, I think.
I took one from Megan.
I think there's only one
Yeah.
left from Jeff.
No. Bjorn said he'd give 4.
Nice.
Today.
I'm going to take one from
One
Bjorn
for
too,
each of
then,
us.
so I'm going to take Megan
Well,
and Bjorn. That's my 2.
I think we should just have a pool that Justin will manage, and
makes
we
sense.
I'm looking at
will
it right now.
take them as
Perfect. Let's
as
do
we
that.
will.
So you take
So-
Megan's.
Leah is going to not roll with disadvantage on her save to try to not be frightened anymore. And she fucking fails again.
Does the Brave not give her
So
anything when she's rolling
still
that?
frightened. Sure. Let's do that.
I feel like it would.
That succeeds. Leah's like shakes it off, realizes that this is just a scary monster, and that she shouldn't be afraid of a scary monster.
It's all less.
So she still has move then, doesn't she?
The sea hag, yes, goes underwater and swims upstream.
What a bitch.
No, I mean Leah
mean-
has move still, doesn't she?
It's not Leah's turn. It's the sea hag's turn.
Those were saves.
Quintus, it is your turn. You are some 40 feet away from Leah and even farther from this hag.
You're downriver.
And panting, I look and I watch as Graham and Tados disappear into the hovel. And I look to Leah and I say, Leah, come on, we need to run. We need to get inside that hovel.
Leah's
And
like
I'm gonna-
nodding.
I'm going to wait for her. I'm going to defer until she moves.
I'm going to be quite a few turns away from you, but that's okay.
I'll still wait.
All right, so Quintus will move when Leah moves. I'm going to leave you in the same turn order. You're just saying when Leah runs, I'll run.
Yeah, it's
so you have prepared an action. Graham, you are in the hovel. What do you do?
I'm going to run to
lights around you.
Yeah, I'm going to run to the witch's sort of area that Tados has described to me by the last time we were here.
The 3 piles of furs in the water. Okay.
And I'm going to frantically search through them, hoping to find something to sort of use to my advantage with these witches.
Let me look at the map for a minute. I don't think you're going to be able to get there, even with both of your moves. Okay. It's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, just to get over to the underwater portion, and then you have to swim. So I'll say you can double move and get up in the chamber where the hags have their little beds.
Can I do a perception once I'm there?
Yes, you can.
Perfect. Then I will do that. And I will not take advantage because I have to wait a turn anyway. Oh, a natural 1. Fuck me.
Yeah, it's really dark and Tados
lights haven't caught up
follow you. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, so moving right along.
Boop, 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 boop.
Tados.
Yes, I follow.
Okay, so you.
Okay, and it would have been better had you waited, Graham.
Well,
had the lights.
I had to get there anyway.
I get there and roll a perception.
Great.
So maybe that will, with some light, we'll be able to find something. And with a 12, yeah.
Graham pokes himself 12. Right in the eye.
Right in there.
12. Yeah, so there are the same 3 piles of furs and bones that are stacked on top of slabs of rock, so that they're piled out of the water. You're still like sloshing through between ankle and knee deep in places in this room. It smells in here. It's not like noticeably different from the last time you were in this room.
Okay, but you know what, to save time, I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna do in this room, and then we can move on next time, because I just want to topple these piles.
Okay. Cool. So Leah is gonna run. Leah's gonna run at the hovel, double moving. She's able to, because she has her blade song activated, she can actually get down into the hovel with her movement.
All right. So
and Quintus, you're going to move too.
I'm going to follow as well. I can get onto the hovel. I should be able to.
Yeah, you can get to the right at the very top.
Yeah.
So you're at the top of the ladder. Nothing else happens. Quintus, it's your turn now.
All right. So I'm going to follow Leah down, and I'm going to shut the hatch so that they can't shoot that damned missiles down.
Cool.
We're in like a big
well,
tank.
actually, it'd be pretty easy for them to open it up again, but hey.
Yeah.
Or just go to the ethereal plane through it.
you hear Leah's little voice from inside. It's really dark down here, Quintus. Okay.
Can't you see in dark?
No, I can't.
Oh, you're a halfling. All right, I'll leave it open a crack.
All right, so we are going to bounce out of initiative order.
Bouncing out.
Leah and Quintus can see the lights reflecting through the water, through the murky water, that they can sort of tell what room Graham and Tados are in. Tados, you said that you wanted to push over these piles of furs. These are like 15-foot wide piles, like heavy, soaked with mildew and water.
Ew.
And I'm just going to be walking over to them.
I say... Go ahead.
And I'm going to be looking like through those piles of bones in those, really searching this room.
Okay, roll investigation.
How tall the piles of bones?
They're about 10 feet tall. You have to kind of clamber up them, yeah.
Fuck. No, I'm not getting on top of them. I'm toppling them from beside.
Roll a strength check.
All right, I'll do my investigation as well, which is a...
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're kind of both...
I'm also telling Tados what I'm doing for him to help me.
Yeah. So like you're checking, I'm making sure I don't push them onto you.
Yeah, that's good.
I roll a is that a negative one? Oh, yeah.
Did I roll a negative number?
You rolled a die that was
negative
impossible.
18.
No, I've got a 17.
Cool.
I've got a -1 strength.
Yeah, so you sort of like prise your staff like into the bottom, and you like use leverage on your knee, and you're able to like topple over one of the piles.
Mind over matter, my friend. Mind over matter. And I topple one.
You notice kind of a glint of something silvery like fall into the water as you do so.
What was that? And I follow it. I follow it down.
You do.
I jump in and I reach for it. That was the one ring to rule them all.
You find something metal in the water here. You like pull a couple of furs away, and you realize it's a pair of goggles. And as you touch it, you know that they are magic.
Excellent. I put them on.
Cool.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck
nothing
yeah.
seems to happen. What?
I turn to Tados and I say, can I... Oh, well, you're wearing them. Those might be able to let you see the creatures in the ethereal plane.
You may be very well right, Graham. Would you like them?
Yes.
I look and
yes, I would.
I give him a sort of like approval look.
Yes, I very much would. You can have them when they're done with this, but...
And I immediately take them off and I hand them to Graham because I'm very much in Graham's service.
Yes. Well,
I see him as the leader of the group.
That's very sweet.
Do you put them on, Graham?
Of course.
Yes.
Note it down because I'm taking that out of my equipment list.
Your vision changes in a way that you have never experienced before, as you are now newly able to see in the dark.
Oh, fuck. No, they're dark vision. Whatever. Still useful, though. Thank you.
Fuck.
Yeah, much.
Hey, don't mock. That's rude.
What else do you do? Wait, Quintus and Leah.
I continue searching while they're doing that, just saying.
Okay, roll another investigation check. Quintus and Leah, I think Leah's like, what if they need help?
Who needs help?
Look over there. You can see I mean, it looks...
Oh, the lights. Yeah, aye, let's move. I've just been sitting here waiting to do something. Let's do it. Let's follow.
So we trek through the water and swim and whatnot, and we come up in the room just as Graham is staring around with his goggles of the night.
And I say, I could really use your help looking through this room. I feel
all right, I'll help you.
Thank you.
And I give you advantage to your next roll.
Nice glasses.
Thank you. They give me advantage too.
Glasses. I thought they were rings.
Goggles.
Oh, natural 20 for investigating this fucking room.
Nice. So after a few minutes, you are able to uncover 2 other items of potentially some significance.
Nice.
You, the first you recognize by feel more than by sight. It is an amulet. There's a smooth and aged skull embedded in it that you can tell is magical.
And I toss it to
Leah. What
Leah.
it does, you're not sure. Leah's like, oh, ew, but cool. This is cool.
Be careful with that.
It's like, smells. And then the other is more personally important to you. You find the iron embers from Alistair's light.
Fuck. And I kneel. And I sort of hold my hands back. Just so sensitively and be like, these are the iron embers. The religious icons. I can't believe we found them. I completely forgot. And I put them in my bag and I stand up, sort of taken aback with such a holy symbol, and I feel renewed, and all my spell slots are
Nope, not even close.
I'm joking. But yeah, that feels really good to find them.
You have uncovered the artifact of your day that was stolen.
Side quest check.
So
Let's see
the
what it
four
is.
of us are standing in the smelly hovel
And I
around these piles of furs, hearing the echoing water.
And I say, let us prepare for them to come. And I turn towards the opening and I ready. I feel like we're fucking with their shit. They're going to want to protect it.
I would like to see the amulet.
Yeah.
Graham,
I threw it to Leah.
Leah throws it at Quintus, at Tados, and it
Toss
bonks
it
him
around
on the
this
side of the head.
priceless...
Oh, it like fucking...
Oh, around the
horseshoes
horns?
around one of his horns. Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll an arcane on this. Arcana. Okay.
Go for it.
DM, yeah.
Yeah, you have to cast Identify. It's an actual spell to be able to tell exactly what it does, but you can roll Arcane check to try to figure out if that's like what kind of magic, maybe?
So a 10.
Yeah.
No idea.
You've never seen something like this before.
But it's a skull inside of an amulet?
Yep.
Hmm.
And it's magical.
Am I getting any vibes from it?
You're getting some good vibes.
Good. Well, that's good. Okay. I tuck it in my pocket and tell them that I will keep it until we get back to town and have somebody look at it who knows better.
And I think we're going to end it there.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Chapters of the Undefeated, episode 10. 7? I don't know.
70-10.
70-10. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This is so fun. Great comments in the chat tonight. Great stuff all around. Who is going to win Endgame XP? Any suggestions from you guys?
I don't know. Lots of good comments.
Lots of good
It's past your bedtime, hey?
You said it. Yeah, I'm going to put in here that either he or she.
I think she won last time. Yeah, she won last week.
I don't see you putting it in there.
Let's say, you know what? Let's go with. I'm gonna overrule, and I'm gonna say Jeff M, because I don't think he's won in a while. And he gave a lot of really great suggestions tonight. What's that?
Yep.
Yeah, because he gave a ton of great suggestions, and he's always helpful with ideas. So, well done, Jeff. You win Endgame XP.
Congratulations. What are you going to do with your extra XP?
Round of applause. Hopefully give it to us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This was so much fun. We are coming back next Wednesday with Swashbuckler's Life 4, run by Alex.
That's going to be fun.
It's going to be very
4-star from the right.
Now that's a drinking game. Yeah, it's called 4th Star from the Right, and we'll see what happens. I'm guessing something never landed. Straight on till morning.
Everyone needs to get better.
At what?
At not being sick.
Yeah, right? But yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Spooky stream Saturday night, so make sure you join us for that. And that is it from us. Hope you have a great weekend. And as my friend Justin always likes to say...
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.